Yo, what's up, Angela? What's going on? How's your notifications doing?
I don't get notifications for this live anymore, and I used to.
So you went into your app and you learned that your notifications, which were on, were turned off.
Yes.
Huh.
If I go to, let's see, if I go to Dale Wheatley.
How's your notifications?
That's the delay I have.
Wow, that just totally discouraged me.
Let me see. Let me just check if I go to your channel. See, I'm subscribed, and I
You
have.
are.
I have
Thank you for
notifications.
subscribing, by the way.
And I have notifications on.
And you have notifications on.
I may have screwed up somehow. I don't know, but I feel like I didn't change anything, and then.
I don't know. Our numbers have been dramatically lower lately. And like, I get it. Like, I'm
Maybe that's
in my
another thing that they
50s or
did for
whatever.
on YouTube. Maybe they just like wiped everybody's notifications and made them do it again. I don't fucking know.
Delicate is here.
That makes no sense.
Traitors was so good. Oh, Mora. Well, listen, man, we can't be putting down the spoilers, so we have to be careful.
You just said it.
No, I didn't. I read what she said. What
Yes,
she
I
wrote
know, but you said it.
to the
You
universe.
verbalized it.
Hey,
So
listen,
you
Maura,
are the spoiler.
we don't-
You are the spoiler.
there's no-
It's you that has to take responsibility for the spoiling.
First of all, I want everybody to calm down. I'm here to protect the spoiling, and number two, that was number one. I'm like Joe Biden all of a sudden. And number two,
No malarkey. Unbelievable.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Yvonne is here. Hello. Archival Raccoon is here. Hello to you. I'm sure Bobo is here somewhere. If not, might hope she's coming. If she's not, I'm going to call the fucking police. Listen. Austin's here. No fucking spoilers. What I'm saying, Mora, that's not a spoiler. Mora, so what? Mora's at the end. Okay, Mora makes it to the end. Who cares? She's like the
You
most
just
unassuming.
spoiled it.
She makes it to the end.
This text, Delicate said, Traders was so good. Oh, Mora.
It's the finale.
You don't know whether Mora was out or whether Mora was in, but you clarified that.
She's not a spoiler. She's not a spoiler. She is not a spoiler. That is, we know that. So stop. Mora is not a spoiler.
I think that you spoiled.
I don't think I did. So it was great. Traders was great.
Yeah, it was a good season.
It's a fucking great show.
So what do you think about next time how they're planning on just putting like regular Joes?
Yeah, it's
in
going to be
there?
great. I just want to see people lying and cheating and deceiving each other, willingly. It's fucking great. It's so great.
Yeah, deception games are fun.
I'll tell you, and it's so funny because this is always a meme in the gaming industry. I can't play the evil guy. And it makes me want to like when you play video games, you often a lot of games I play, which are role-playing games, you can choose to play the evil character. And it's like a whole different run. I told you before, I missed the nuclear, the nuclear explosion in fucking Fallout because like you make a choice and one of them is like a really shitty one and you're awful and bad shit happens, a nuclear explosion. And for it, you get like this fucking penthouse in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then if you choose to do the moral thing, you don't get to see the explosion. You get this little shit box.
Sounds like the whole premise of The Shining. Don't the bad guys don't they have penthouses in Vegas? The bad guys? That's so interesting how they both did that.
Delegate's like, I'm sorry I started a fight. I hope they have regular people with
It's
celebs.
not your fault, Delicate. It is entirely Dale's fault for being a spoiler.
Delicate said she hopes they have regular people with celebs.
Oh.
I want to do the show. Like, I wish COVID wasn't a thing because I would fucking apply. I know I wouldn't get in, but I would just apply because you at least you're going to, you know what I mean? I don't expect to win $1 billion, but I buy the ticket when it's up there, you know? I'll take my 1 in 290
well,
million chance.
The problem with traders is like, who wants to apply to be on a show that only awards you like 100K? Like, it's
really, not a money thing. It's definitely just playing the game thing.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, again, right? Mm-hmm. Again,
yeah.
Got to watch my step. There's great play at work in this game. This game has great play because deception is a craft. It's a craft. You have to own it down to the soul. like right to the soul.
Not beating the Don's Plum allegations when you talk like that.
Well, there are no allegations that could possibly stand up against me.
No, it's
Dale
true.
made a movie in Hollywood and he tried to release it. What a fucking scumbag. And everyone liked it too. Can you believe that shit? He made a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the most ridiculous argument that was ever made against a human being, let alone ruining somebody's life over. So I have nothing to worry about. I can be as deceptive as I want to be, and none of that would still make Don's Plum make any sense.
Yeah, because their allegations make no sense. Austin is with us. Said,
it's so good to see you.
traders.
Tangerine's here? Sweet.
I know, we got a good crowd today.
Traders.
Austin said, I'm listening to your rewrite on Patreon. When do you guys go live next on Patreon? Like, when does that schedule?
That's going to be Monday. Well, here's the thing. You got to put your notifications on because I'm kind of like a floaty, but it's Monday during the day, Eastern, when I get to it. In this case, it's going to be much earlier, like 10 a.m. normally. But now I'm getting to it a little later because I have a paid gig that takes precedent. So it's a paid gig, and then after the paid gig, I get to do this. And so that's only for a month, though. And then after the month, I'm going to go,
It's only for a couple more weeks.
Whatever it is. So as soon as the paid gig is over, then I'm going to be writing. It is so fun. I'm so glad you're listening to it because it's a fun time. And I think that as this thing gets more comfortable, like, because for me, it's like I'm learning how to talk about the writing as I go through it, which is new to me. But I think it's fun. I'm also I think because I know that we've had at least one person at the live. And then when I look at the stats, there's like 5-6 people. They're not identifying themselves, but they got to be, someone from the crew, I would imagine. Because I don't think I put it, I haven't, it's not on blast. It's for members only. Anyway, I read with more, verbosity, with more oomph.
Did you screw up your thumbnail today?
Why? What did I do?
I think you did.
What is it? Is it the micro penis one?
Yes, you edited it, but you didn't edit it.
All the way?
Yeah.
Didn't I? Well, let me see. What? No. Why? What are people talking about? What did I do?
Felbaumling says, man admits to having the world's smallest unit. Then I see Clinton. And I can't help but think of a quarter. Well done with the thumbnail, no pun intended.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
Well, I switched stories, and I guess I didn't clean the shit.
Did you upload the wrong one?
I mean, I'm going with apparently. No, I didn't. I don't know. Now I got to go into Canva. We were having a good time, weren't we?
Well, you could fix it, right?
but I got to go. I got to figure it all out. No, man, I don't even know how to use this one because I use the projects I got to go to.
This kind of shit happens all the time. Because Dale has ADD and it makes him an absolute brilliant genius, but it also makes it so that he doesn't check
genius.
before he just does stuff.
Okay, so no, it says Baldoni's agent. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. Hang on.
It's the second story. Yeah?
No.
Anyway, spoiler, that's what we were going to talk about today.
What, the micro penis?
Yes.
Well, we all know how I feel about Little Richards. It's called Little Richards because I call it Little Richard because we were on TikTok. And TikTok throws your ass off for saying anything. Mm-hmm. At least they did back then.
But I also like the term for it because it's just a little bit disarming,
So I ended up calling it Little Richard because I thought that made sense and nobody would flag it.
So apparently there's a guy who has started like a campaign to raise awareness about body shaming.
That is so weird. This is so weird about like archiving. Let me tell you something, man. YouTube is broken right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this thing. Everything's right.
Okay.
I have everything right.
Well, then I don't know what Phil Baldoni.
So some kind of caching is going on there. Danny Greenberg, Bill Clinton.
Is the picture?
Pictures.
All right, then.
Did Bill Clinton lie under oath again?
Oh, did you put it in your text? Like in the
No, I'm in the text. That's what I'm looking at. Baldoni's agent's deposition read live. Plus, man says he has the world's smallest unit. Okay, here we go. It's true. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So this guy who goes by the name of, oh shit, now I have to remember. He's a fellow from North Carolina. And he came out saying that he has what he believes to be the world's smallest penis. He was interviewed by a relatively attractive woman. I'll say relative because I'm trying to be modest about it.
Yeah, and you're like, who booked this one?
You know what I mean? It's just like this guy's got it. It's just like and TMZ. I caught it on TMZ. TMZ's coverage of it was just like straight up like
She has her hair down.
knee
She's
slapping.
got like a low cut top. I was just like, what the fuck are they doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has to do an interview, which is basically, essentially, because of what he's saying, it's almost like a confessional or something. Because this topic is still so taboo. So I was like, what the fuck are they doing putting this person who is dressed this way in to interview him? You know, instead of like another dude or, you know, somebody who's at least looks professional, whatever. I think it's really rad that he's coming out and he's trying to raise awareness on this subject as like putting a face to the stigmatized physical situation.
Yeah, well, so he came out to talk about it because it's you know, it's something that a lot of men suffer from, and it's a condition that many men have, and who have to live in sort of a secret shame over.
And constantly being body shamed, like anonymously all the time, because everybody always makes tiny dick jokes. Like for some reason, it's still the thing that we do as a society, and it's totally accepted. Like
it's sad.
It's like the meanest body shaming, and we all do it. I don't know why. Like nobody's recognized that. Maybe it's time to move past it. Well, hopefully.
So his name is Michael Phillips, and they just made fun of him. The you know, he's trying to come out and talk about it seriously, right? And
because
like,
who's advocating for these guys? They just have to be
nobody.
in like quiet, painful shame.
No, and it's like I said, I talked about, you know, what is it, Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is, the little environmentalist woman.
Yeah, I mean, she's an adult now, but yeah, she started.
I call her
when
a
she was
woman.
younger. You said little. Is she short?
I don't think she's very tall.
Okay.
But she's still a youngling. And listen, she made that joke about, she made a small penis joke about Donald Trump, you know? And, you know, it's just, that's how just generally accepted it is to just body shame men.
Yeah.
And it's a really terrible thing.
You think she would know better, you know?
I learned that, I forget what the number was, but it's like a very, very large amount. That's right. I didn't learn the number. I went and saw the statistics and then relayed them to you guys. But a significant number of men in a crowded room, like if you're in a room cracking dick jokes, right? At the Christmas party, right? Which maybe you shouldn't. But if you are at the Christmas party, you're like little Richard jokes are flying. You're like shaming people in the room. Mm-hmm. Like there's 100% chance that you're shaming some people in the room.
What are the statistics, you think?
I forget what it was. It was something like 20%, I think it was. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was 20% of all men have a below average sized penis, a small penis.
Yeah, well, that would make sense about averages, you know?
Now, micro penises are another fucking story altogether. And this guy, Mr. Phillips, he, when asked, how big are we talking? He held up his finger and he pointed to his pinky fingernail. And he said, about the length of this fingernail. And then she asked, and is that flaccid or erect? And it was erect. He said, when it's flaccid, it's much smaller, which is impossible to imagine.
I just think that, like, how do you get to the point where you're just like, oh, fuck the stigma. I'm just going to talk about this because somebody has to.
Yeah, well,
like,
this is, I think, where he's coming
like,
from.
Huh?
I think this is where he's coming from.
That guy was like looking around his whole life being like, is there no one who's going to like be the role model for me to have some sort of like, you know, anybody to look up to, or like not look up to necessarily, but even who's speaking about it?
Yeah.
I wonder whether the Tourette's conversation had anything to do with this. You know, where he's like, yeah, let's just break down stigmas all over the place.
It could. I mean, I hope people get emboldened by it. But anyway, he says, Michael Phillips would cross swords with any challenger. Like they're doing it in the fucking headline. Like in the headline. So world's smallest penis, Michael Phillips would cross swords with any challenger. And the reason that
they felt so clever when they wrote that too.
The reason why they're saying that is because, oh yeah, they had a yuck about it. And the reason why they're saying it is because he was asked by the interviewer, you know, he said he thinks he has the world's smallest penis. And then she was like, well, how'd you know? He's like, basically, you know, from my research on the internet, but if anybody wants to compare, you know, I'll do that. I mean, I'll happily do that. And And so they made that headline out of it, which, you know, granted, like, what is he saying that for? Like, you know, and that's hence the cross swords, because he mentioned that he would compare it. It was so stupid. And then, you know, but the actual article itself is also, you know, written tongue in cheek the whole way through. And it's just like if you can't take it seriously, they'll never get a break, these guys. They'll never get a fucking break. Like, this guy's coming out and talking about it, and it's just basically the butt of jokes.
Well, I disagree. I mean, you don't have to take it seriously to destigmatize it. You can actually make it super funny and destigmatize it.
Lenny fucking Bruce over here.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's I don't know that it's a requisite that you have to take everything as.
But
like
if you're making fun of small dicks, I don't know how
not
you're
making
achieving
fun
it.
of, but like I understand that part of the stigma is that these people feel like they're cursed, that there's something seriously wrong with them, and if you sort of make light of something like that, it can help remove people's feeling that like they've been, you know, that there's what's the word? Like dysfunctional. You know?
Yeah, and like, you know, I don't know if it's him or if it's TMZ, but like, it's just constant, like for example, they said that he's trying to raise awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, those words, you know, just
I see. I wasn't even thinking. Raise
like, for me, yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I know what you're doing, dude.
How else is it said?
You know, want to get the word out, want to show support to people who are out there who want to help people become more aware.
I think you're being too sensitive. I don't think raise awareness was meant as some sort of dig, some sort of joke.
I think it's thematically appropriate, and the writer knew that.
It didn't even occur to me.
Well, that doesn't mean it didn't occur to the writer. And as a writer, I am a writer.
Yep, that's true.
And as a writer, that's exactly how I would do that. That's exactly how I would do it. In fact, just in my last writing session, I talked about just lacing things in there that are completely unnoticeable. It worked perfectly, but where it cohesively, like, or it concretizes, you know, I guess I hate that word. People use it way too often. It, you know, whatever. It bakes it all together, maybe.
Oh, I like that better. Well, I'm glad this guy is doing his thing. I think that it's super important. I feel bad for people who are like have to suffer body shaming in silence all the time. They're made like everybody unanimously laughs at those jokes, and it just must be like a dagger in the heart every time, you know?
It's got to be terrible. Yeah. It's just got to be terrible. Like it's just got to be a terrible thing. And I've been a guy dropping those jokes. I laughed early on. I thought the cleverest one was when we would drive by guys in the big trucks and people would be like, you know, sorry about your dick or whatever. And I'd be just like, ha, ha, ha. And then it just hit me one day like, fuck, that's kind of harsh, actually, now that I think about it. You know, and then and then as I started to like imagine it, like, actually, I think it's a great character piece for a book is a micropenised man as your protagonist would be incredibly interesting and difficult.
That sounds like something Chuck Palahniuk would write, because Palahniuk, sorry, I always screw up it. Yeah, I learned his name by reading it, and then I learned how it's pronounced, and it still isn't like fused into my brain. Anyway,
it's a Cano for me.
Yeah, Chuck Palahniuk. All of his characters have like really strange quirks. Like every single person, like there's not a single normal person in his books ever. It's always just like, oh, this person is a character who just has a regular relationship, but on the side they're experts in like a flower mythology and symbolism.
Right.
Like, okay, random.
Yeah.
This other guy who's like the protagonist of a book, like he makes his hobby, and he'll do a lot of like inner monologuing while he's building tiny little like building models, you know, like out of like your little balsa board, you know, he'll like build meticulous reconstructions of like famous buildings, and then he'll set it on the floor. He'll take his shoes and socks off and he'll stomp it. He'll stomp it into pieces. And so the entire way throughout his book, like the guy is like limping because he's always got these injured feet from his weirdo fucking habit. All his characters are like that.
Yeah, he's really fun to read if you haven't read him.
So if you have a character that
he wrote Fight Club.
Like, especially if your character is your protagonist or whatever has a micropenis and it's just like not a thing. It just happens to be a detail about his life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it would be, right? It would be like this thing that like kind of makes an appearance, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. And and leaves you thinking about, like, leaves you dealing with it, you know? I love that. I love bringing in the unexpected in that way. Anyway, I'm so glad that some of you are checking out, some of you in the crew are checking out the second edition pass and the audiobook pass. It's not the official audiobook, but the read by author audiobook pass of Too Real. It's super fun. And what I was saying about it is that there were people out there now, and yeah, more performative. I think I did my best reading. I'm so interesting. Like I feed off of everybody. In my mind, when I write, I feed off of of what I think people are going to feel.
Yeah, you have to imagine it.
I just have to.
Yeah.
It's my sole motivation is that feedback. And it's almost like I feel like it's a part of the collaboration of it all.
Yeah,
like
we're just very different that way. I think it's really interesting and very useful, obviously, if you're like externally motivated and it works, like you get a lot done because you think about how people might enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm not externally motivated at all. In fact, I would prefer not to show anybody any of the stuff that I ever do. And so like I get more work done when I don't think somebody's ever going to see it. You know, it's very different. I think that's sort of like the neutral way of saying that somebody is self-centered. Like I'm self-centered that way. I don't ever make art to show anybody else. And in fact, it's kind of it impedes my process if I ever think about other people. So I'm like centering myself in it.
Yeah.
But then you are what's the opposite of self-centered? Other-centered? No. What's the word?
I don't know. Socially conscious. I don't know what I mean.
You're the opposite of self-centered.
Here's some astrology. I'm actually deeply motivated by emotions creatively. So
Emotions?
Emotion.
Okay.
And my first house ruler is Mars in my fifth house of pleasure and creativity. And and it's all about emotions. I have emotional goals for the audience.
You missed the Pisces part of that.
And then, right, so it's in Pisces, which represents deep emotions. Now, also very emotionally based, like all the water signs are emotionally based, essentially, but they have difference. There's some subtle differences. And so I'm a water-based sign, fixed Scorpio. But where I'm going with this is that here's the astrology. So I write it with this external motivation that people will enjoy it. That people that when I'm writing or whatever I'm doing, my thought is about the audience that I intend it for. Not like I'm not thinking about people that that would otherwise be. So, but that's Leo in the 10th. Mm-hmm. That's fucking Leo in the 10th. Astrology is fucking amazing.
Talking about astrology.
And by the way, the Leo in the 10th is ruled by, because Leo's rulership, the planet that rules that sign, is the sun. The sun is in my third house in a stellium with Mercury and Venus, where I write. And third house is, just so you know, third house is all about communication and writing. And then I have Mercury there in a stellium with my sun. It's fucking amazing. And that rules the 10th explains fully why it's so important to me that people see and enjoy the work.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, they learn about astrology through like pop astrology, like magazine horoscope, like newspaper horoscope astrology. And they're like, okay, the sun sign doesn't really fit me.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you'll look at your whole chart. Somebody will guide you through what your whole chart means. And you're like, this couldn't fit anybody any better than it fits me. Like, especially yours. Like there's several redundancies in your chart where different planetary placements will be saying the same thing in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's just so prominent in your life.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting.
Wild stuff. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about you.
The junk farm had jokes.
Oh yeah, let's hear them.
About our friend with the speaking out about micro penises.
Yes.
The junk farm said that he's saying that he's the smallest in the world.
Yeah.
And challenging anybody to be smaller than him to come forward.
Yeah.
And the junk farm said he would like to find someone smaller so that he could tease that guy.
That'd be just the most cruelest end to that. Like a short film. He finally meets him and he goes, and the guy pulls out and he's like, I'm sorry. That was not. It's totally inappropriate. Oh my God, I would say put it away, but what's the point?
And he's like,
You know what I mean?
we have to destigmatize it.
All right, Freckles. You win.
Austin said that to destigmatize micro penises, it'll take the parents of children who have this.
Well, yeah, that's a good start for sure. I mean, absolutely, always, completely.
I think this also aligns really well with
that's true for racism, misogyny, everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think this aligns really well with the two different groups who are doing really great activism. The intersex movement, who is the reason why there's an I in LGBTQIA.
Okay.
Intersex people are often it's typically like a result of some sort of dysfunction in the hormone uptake when the fetus is developing in, before they're born.
Sounds sciencey.
Yeah. So it's very common, the way that human beings are made and formed is not like a certain process every time. Like a lot of different things can happen. That's why sometimes people are born with like webbed fingers or webbed toes, So this, like a lot of different mechanisms can, even if one small part fails, it could result in genitals that are kind of like difficult to discern for the doctor. And a lot of times they'll just assign these people to a gender at birth, raise them as that gender. And then a lot of times, I think a lot of the people who grow up and recognize that they're transgender are the result of being misassigned intersex people. Mm-hmm. So that sort of goes with this, like he's trying to raise awareness for people with small penises or micro penises.
Yes.
It kind of aligns with the intersex movement where people are like people with different genitals should be respected. We have to break the binary about what one gender is supposed to look like and the other gender is supposed to look like, right? And then I think the other is there's another movement to try and get people to stop doing circumcision because a lot of babies become wounded and even mutilated, and so they grow up with these with like real bad shame conditions about their genitals. In the same way that somebody with a micropenis might not want to, reach the point in a relationship where they become intimate and they're like nervous about how they're going to reveal that they have this problem. It's the same thing with a lot of people who end up being mutilated as babies when their parents have asked a doctor to do circumcision surgery. It's fucked up, man. It happens to a lot of people.
It does, yeah. Well, and there's Justin, right? Advocating.
Yeah, well, it goes well for them, and so they think it's a safe thing to do for everybody. I didn't. I knew of a guy who he was really, really nervous. He like never really had girlfriends, and the reason why was because he was mutilated right after birth in one of these surgeries. And I don't know what his specific issue was, but he was just really, really anxious about ever being naked in front of anybody. He had to have that his whole life.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like a small penis problem. I would be so terrified if I had a micro penis. I wouldn't even know. I've seen one at the gym, and the dude, shoulders back, head high.
He didn't care.
Pressed through with his towel off like nobody's fucking business.
Good for him.
Sat down with his legs
He's
apart.
Like, I'm raising awareness today.
Fucking talked to the guy beside him with his fucking Johnson hanging there, or not, whatever, standing there, and fucking guys like da da da. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. Puts on his fucking shorts, goes out into the racquetball court, and just fucking murders that ball.
I think it's so strange. It's never not going to be strange to me the culture of men walking around naked in locker rooms.
Dude.
Did you always find that's weird, or is it normal?
Yeah, man. The first time I went in, I was like, this is what we do? We do this? When? Why do we do this? What are we doing? Why is everybody's dick out? I don't understand what's going on.
I feel like I've never seen that in a women's locker room.
Bunch of dudes trying to look each other in the eye the whole time, too. What's up, dudes? What's up, guy? What's up? What's
you can
dude?
see the whites all the way around because they're like really.
There's like 100% like this. They got their own like imaginary shelf under their chin. It's like, oh, okay, yep, no problem. They're just like,
why do they do it to each other? It's like a fucking hazing ritual.
So it's totally weird. Fucking Korean bathhouse. I went to one of those. Best, by the way, way better than anything like at the racquetball club in terms of just spying. Loved it. But
I'll never understand that.
Dudes sitting on fucking dudes like just straight naked sat on overturned buckets pouring cold water over their heads in a big giant big like draining fucking.
Okay, here's my question about the Korean bathhouses. Do they change the water out, or is everybody just hanging out in each other's genital
No,
water?
it's their, yeah, no. Well, listen, hey.
Does it get drained and refilled between people?
So funny when people talk like that, because like when like we're out in the fucking beach, everyone's like I remember somebody was complaining about somebody urinating in the beach.
I don't like the ocean either because whales poop in that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like everyone was like screaming, I can't believe this guy's pissing at the beach. And I was like, whales shit there.
That water is filthy. There's literally nothing
They
cleaning
shit
it.
multiple human-sized shits there. There, that is fecal matter in that water for sure, man.
Horrific.
There's fish like darting around everywhere. What do you think? They don't shit? It's really funny. Anyway, archival raccoons getting some homework in for Astrology Sunday.
Getting some homework in?
Yeah, they're getting their basics down. We're also going to do some basics. In fact, we were just talking about that today. So we're going to be doing basics. We're going to be doing dignities this weekend, I think.
Archival raccoon, you have to ask questions so that we can have topics to cover that are going to help you get your basics down.
Yeah.
It's I'm very much like, I want to make content about like what I wish I knew when I was starting out learning astrology. But then Dale's like, no, we should talk about more basics. And so we're a little bit lacking a direction. I mean, there's always a million things to talk about, so we're going to talk about whatever. But if you asked questions, that would be really helpful. Yeah. So that we can help you understand and catch up to where we are after years of study.
Yeah, that's true for writers too, like the writing part too. If you have like some writing questions or comments, if you have even notes, like I'll take notes, dude. I love notes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I won't necessarily incorporate them, and often.
Are you watching the chat when you're doing it?
I'll glance at it once in a while. It depends. Like I tell everybody I may or may not. It just depends on sort of the mood and pace I'm at or whatever. Like sometimes I'll have to like go into like straight, like this hasn't happened yet, but I can imagine that there's going to be times where I'm just basically going to zone out completely and have to, or zone in, if you will, on the book itself.
You guys didn't tell me that my forehead was this shiny. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was going to say something, Angela.
What am I going to do?
It's can we get a powder?
Can I get the makeup in here?
We need some touch. Somebody missed last looks. Yeah, you got quite the little shiny forehead.
Mm-hmm. I exfoliated. That's why.
You look exfoliated. Sounds like a 80s song by In Excess.
You could slap it and it'd make a sound. Okay. This is really funny. I'm Bobo said, good, we're not talking about Benny Blanco's feet.
Who's Benny Blanco and why would we talk about his feet?
You know who Selena Gomez is?
Oh, those dirty feet. I saw that.
Everyone is like, girl, you deserve better than this. Benny Blanco is like apparently a pig. He's walking around Selena Gomez's gorgeous house on her gorgeous furniture with his dirty ass feet. It's just amazing.
Well, listen, who are we to judge? Maybe the happiness is so profound that the dirty feet are easily to look past. He's a bit of a hippie dude, and hippies don't, they don't wear shoes. There was a time in my life I just wore no shoes or socks, and I had dirty bottom feet all the time because I didn't wear shoes or socks. I showered daily.
Yes, I know.
The earth is dirty.
Okay, so
the ocean has whale shit in it.
Yes, I know. But you'd walk around outside with your bare feet, and then you'd walk around inside your clean house with your bare feet.
I'm gonna blow shit up, dude. Okay, the FDA allows for a certain amount of fecal matter in pretty much all the food we eat.
Okay, but that's a whataboutism argument, and we're still not talking about why you would have dirty feet inside your house.
Well, because you can't wash them wherever you go, and if you don't wear shoes,
you can wash them wherever you go. Actually.
You can't.
That's false.
It's not. Yeah, no, it's not false. It's unrealistic to expect somebody to walk across a surface and then immediately have to wash their feet because.
Yeah. Most of the time, people have outside shoes.
Look,
and then they have inside shoes.
His feet were too dirty.
Or they're inside, or if they're barefoot, their floor is clean.
His feet were too dirty. Look, they started the conversation. They were too dirty. I saw them. They were too dirty. Yeah.
Gross.
Bad, dirty feet.
Yeah. There's
like when they're that dirty, you're like, oh shit, yeah, I do need to go wash them, and you do. You put them in the tub and you Give him a good
Here's the
rinsey.
thing about being like a Disney like child star,
Yeah.
right? And I think this reminds me of the conversation where everybody was like, why is everybody dating Pete Davidson? And like Benny Blanco is kind of in like the same family. I think that these women who are like these super high achieving, like elite level stars, and they have been since they were kids, since they were child actors.
Yeah.
I think that when they can get into a relationship with somebody who doesn't ask anything of them, who doesn't make trouble in their lives, who's like easygoing and lets them live their life and doesn't fucking bother them about anything. I think that that's like such a relief to them because their life has been from their parents to the way, everything that like their school experience, having to go to school on set. And like, imagine having to like carry a show like Selena Gomez and also having to like study in school because you're mandated to do that when you're a kid in Hollywood, you know?
Yep.
Like, ugh, so stressful. So when she finds somebody like Benny Blanco who's just like chilling,
Yeah.
he's just basically like a dirty hippie.
Yeah.
She's probably like,
where the wind blows.
oh, what a relief. Like, he doesn't ask anything of me. He's just happy to be here.
When I say I don't want to do anything, he's like, then don't.
Exactly.
The only
That's what I
one,
think it is. That's what I think the attraction
the only
is.
one that says, then don't.
You know, but if there's also a lot of people who are sharing like interviews of him where he was being a bit disrespectful, and that's obviously not good.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that.
I have to slip back into a mode that just, sort of intruded my consciousness because I need to clarify that we're going to be going straight to live. So we're using Patreon's.
You're saying this weekend, right?
Just let me finish what I'm saying. We're going to be using Patreon's stream keys for the astrology and for the writing shows. So
When's astrology again?
none of that's going to be on YouTube until I start repurposing.
You didn't mention it earlier when you were talking about
This astrology session?
You were answering a question and you only talked about the writing lives, but not the astrology ones.
I'm sorry. You have to say that again.
You answered a question earlier.
Yes.
Austin said, I'm listening to your rewrite on Patreon. When do you guys go live next on Patreon? Like, when does that schedule?
All right. So
and you talked about your writing lives, but you didn't mention the astrology one. You do have a time for that, right?
Thank you. Yeah, that's at from 2 to 4 p.m. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, and every Sunday unless otherwise noted. And I'm gonna do a really good job at keeping up on the Patreon posts. So if I'm moving something, or and I'll try to give a heads up when to like maybe as much. I'll try to give as much advance notice as I can on the writing. Otherwise, I'm just going to go live and just look for those notifications. Those sessions are going to get longer, not shorter. Like right now, I've only been up for an hour and a half. I'm hoping to get to 4 to 6 hours on some of those sessions. I want to get through this book. I also am excited because if I like what happens here, I'm going to write another book just like this. So this series on Patreon is going to continue, but with a whole brand new book from start. And only only the crew is going to get in on that. And that's going to be really fun because you guys are going to watch me write really poorly and at times. And maybe you'll enjoy a lot of the early writing too, because I do write some good first draft stuff. But first draft stuff compared to the stuff that I'm reading right now, I mean, it's night and day. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about that because that's a part of the writing process that I don't think people really get to see. And yet we all have to catch ourselves in it. Like the hardest part about, it's like, you sit there and you watch amazing athletes do amazing work, and you're a young and aspiring athlete, but you didn't get to see the work that led to that ability, that incredible ability, the work that person did beyond even what maybe coaches were putting on the table for them, the stuff they did behind the house, the stuff they were doing with their dad, their cousin, whatever.
Behind the house? Yeah,
like in the backyard.
Oh. I was like, why is he hiding back there? What's he doing?
He's tackling. He's fucking, So it's that. That's part of our writing that I think is going to be something that I think is going to be extremely valuable to people. And then, obviously with Too Real Live, it's also performative because I'm reading the book for the purposes of trying to publish a read by author version of the book at the end of this, which I will first, that's going to premiere, for lack of a better term, on the Patreon, and then I'm going to monetize it outside of Patreon. But if you're already monetized in Patreon, you'll it's just a part of that $1 a month or whatever. However, I may also take it out to like, in other ways, like selling it on the website or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord. Lord.
Can I tell you some news?
Yes, please.
A NASA intern discovered a new planet on his third day on the job.
Not in our solar system.
No.
Oh, God. I was just like, that's going to turn astrology on its fucking head.
He's a 17-year-old intern at NASA.
Wow.
Yeah. And
an intern found a planet?
Yes, he found a planet.
Oh, this could be great or this could be awful.
No, it's great.
Okay.
He was checking images from its super strength satellite when he noticed something strange. It turned out to be a new planet, 1,300 light years away from Earth. The news was confirmed by NASA.
I mean, I don't want to sound too unenthusiastic about it.
Why?
I don't want to, but I'm just going to point out that
Why don't you want to
there's
sound
like
too
trillions of stars.
Why don't you want to sound
If
too
there are
enthusiastic?
trillions of stars, then there are like tens of maybe hundreds of trillions of planets. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I discovered a human today. Like, I think it's great.
Come on. It's not the same. You're such a hater.
No, it's great. It's great. But then I was just suddenly like, I was like, well, there's a lot of planets. I mean, there is a lot of planets.
Okay.
Hold
up.
I'm excited for the 17-year-old.
He's 17
Yeah, no,
years
it's great.
old.
Obviously, it's better than getting laid.
It was his third day at NASA.
Yeah.
He's hooked now. He's
For
definitely
sure,
on the NASA track. His whole life is
Dude, you
gonna
kidding
be...
me? He's walking in the next day with a coffee in one hand and a cigarette in the other and telling people what to do.
So it is a... Do you want to know about the planet? Or are you too
please.
jaded? You don't
I'm excited.
care about...
No, I'm excited. I'm going to go there one day. How many light years?
1,300
That's not so
light
bad.
years away.
That's not
He
so bad.
spotted a colossal new planet.
Colossal.
It is nearly the size of Saturn.
Oh.
And apparently it is hiding in plain sight among the stars, but none of the other people found it. He did. The find is as breathtaking as it is improbable, a reminder that the universe still holds secrets even veteran scientists have yet to see.
We've explored 5% of the ocean. But keep going.
You're such a hater.
It's just a funny thing to say. It's the universe.
The young astronomer's observation combines... I'm just going to skip all this fluff. What first appeared as a faint anomaly in the data revealed itself to be a massive world, orbiting far from its parent star, quietly obeying the cosmic rules. Is so fluffy. The
Quietly obeying.
The discovery of this planet is it's orbiting 2 stars, which is super interesting.
Oh, I just want to... Don't you... I just can't... that's my next life. I'm going to a 2-star, a 2-sun planet next time. Aren't you? You got to come with me. We're soulmates.
Even scientists noted a quiet pattern in exoplanet discoveries. Planets of such immense size are often overlooked in crowded star fields. Their gravitational influence is subtle yet measurable. So they think about this planet that maybe it is a... it's probably doesn't have a surface. It's probably just a gas giant.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's like, I can't go there. Anyway, they asked him if he would name it.
Yeah.
He said his little brother told him it should be named Wolftopia, but he doesn't actually get to name it. And so everybody's like, shut up. It's called Wolftopia. I don't care about the fucking catalog numbers that NASA is calling it by.
It should be Wolftopia for sure.
It's Wolftopia because his name is actually Wolf.
His name is Wolf?
His name is Wolf. Wolf Cukier.
Wolftopia.
Cukier. Wolftopia. Anyway, it's very beautiful too. I think that they probably just did like some sort of graphic design because I don't think they actually have a photograph of it from that far away.
Pratty's here.
But the picture that they're putting out is all these really pretty streaked blue, green, and pink. Who?
Pratty.
Hello.
What's up, Pratt? Yeah, that's exciting,
anyway,
man.
No
That's
big deal.
No, that's exciting.
17-year-old.
It's amazing. It's exciting. I hate to be
discovered a
cynical. I just know that there's a lot of planets out there. I just know that. And look, they're obviously, it's a big fucking deal.
A teenager's sharp eyes have expanded our cosmic map.
I'm not trying to be shitty, but I
not cool enough for you.
I'm not trying to be shitty, but I know this guy who who named a star out. He paid $100 and he named a star after his grandmother. Does this guy know, 17 years old, that he can just, maybe that's a Christmas gift you should give to that kid.
Dale, perhaps the most enduring thought is the sense of possibility. If a planet this immense could go unnoticed for so long, how many more celestial wonders await someone willing to notice them? The universe remains a playground of mystery, offering glimpses of the extraordinary to those ready to see.
So,
Dale.
are they trying to say that they have cataloged nearly all the planets that are at least 1,000 light years away? Because I don't think they have.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, it just seems, doesn't that seem like a little bit of a fluffy statement?
Okay, if they have, so what? And if they haven't, so what?
Don't you think most planets 1,000 light years away have gone unnoticed?
I'm not the person to ask about this.
Because if they haven't, I want to know, because I know that there are conversations that some think, even in the astronomy world, that there might be another planet, a very dark giant here in this solar system.
I was wrong about you, because I saw this and I was like, the discovery of Wolftopia by a 17-year-old NASA intern. Dale is going to love this story. Nope.
I do like the story. I'm totally intrigued by it. Why am I embarrassed? Why are you embarrassing me now? You're making me feel bad. And that makes me embarrassed.
Oh, here's another story. This is closer to home.
I'm going to hate it.
So Zoran Mamdani is the mayor of New York City.
Yeah, he's that guy who does the thing. Yeah.
And he ran on a proud socialist platform.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Feed the children.
And so now people are starting to see what that actually means.
Right.
And they absolutely fucking love it.
Well, why wouldn't they? They get things, bro.
I know, but check out what happened.
Yeah, okay.
So New York City and most of the East Coast, the Northeast, had like a horrible snowstorm, like feet of snow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Like a big problem.
There was like 65 mile an hour winds in Wisconsin or some shit.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
I've never seen anything like that in Canada.
So Mamdani, he said, listen, we got a problem with people not being able to move around the city safely. So what I'm going to do, and he put out like the fucking APB, okay?
Yeah.
All points bulletin. He was like, if you want to work a 12-hour shift clearing the roads, you get on the subway, you come to this office, you sign up. I will give you a snow shovel. I will give you a vest. Wear warm clothes because we don't have that to give you, but I'll give you like a reflective vest. I'll give you a snow shovel, and we will dispatch you to neighborhoods in New York City, and you will work with other people to clear the roads and the sidewalks. $35 an hour.
Yes.
For a 12-hour shift.
Fuck yeah.
People were taking off their actual jobs.
Yeah, of course they were, because they
were going to just do some labor overnight.
And fix the city.
They
help their neighbors.
They said that not only were these people, it was amazing. Like the turnout was incredible, because if you give people a living wage in order to improve their neighborhood, they will do it and they'll be happy. Everybody that signed up was like whistling while they worked. It's hard labor.
I know.
Like,
do you think I don't know that? Believe me, I've cleared many a driveway.
But they were all so happy to do it. They were making more money than they typically do at their other jobs, and they were, and it's really amazing. It's
but it's also another form of community, because like now you're involved in this totally, like everybody knows what everyone's getting. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no like, everybody's into it.
There's a bunch of people who were making social media content about it. And so they would film themselves going out and working with these road crews, and they'd see like neighbors walking on the streets that they just cleared and thanking them. And they would get like bodega coffee and like meet all of these other people who had been dispatched to this neighborhood to go and clear the streets. And like everybody had a really great time. They close their shift, it's dawn, and they go home in the morning and they're like exhausted, but they're super happy for having helped. And so this is just one way in which Mamdani is like, it's very easy to take taxpayer dollars, put it into the pockets of people who actually live in the community. Now that money is circulating back in the economy, and these people are getting like an awesome wage for like just 12 hours of labor.
Yeah.
From the city.
Yeah.
And everybody's fucking happy and everybody wins. And now that money's going to get circulated around and everybody's going to, benefit.
It's a dance party, man. I love it.
When you have taxpayer dollars going into people's pockets instead of like some contracted snow removal company or something, everybody benefits.
I'm just so thrilled by that. And I just hope that it rubs off, man. I just hope that others get to see the incredible value created by this kind of structure.
And they had a bunch of people too. Look, can you see this? You see all this this is like from a picture from up in an apartment building.
Oh yeah.
And see all those orange vests?
That's all just people making
just like one corner.
Making $35 an hour right there.
He didn't turn anyone away. He was like, yeah, we need you. Go out there. Get it done faster if there's more people. And then he dispatched a bunch of vans to like carry the people to the different places.
And yeah, and what happened? They
amazing.
dug him out.
Yep.
People got to, and you know, what did he actually end up doing? He ended up getting the city moving.
Yeah.
And if the city's moving, the city is productive.
Yep. He's got his priorities straight.
Solid. So brilliant.
I know.
This guy, man.
I love him.
It's like the easiest thing in the world too. Like this is that's not difficult. What he came up with there is not difficult. It's out of the box. It doesn't make any sense to anybody else because it's so far from anything that,
But this is
conventional capitalistic thinking.
This is why they have to turn socialism into a big boogeyman, because fundamentally what it means is that if you need work done, you will call on the people to do the work in their communities.
Yeah, what's interesting about it too is that one of, the big like hits that contractors get every year is snow removal. Big corporate fucking, and like just
and that
company
gets siphoned out of the local community and out to whatever corporation, fucking Delaware corporation or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like some fucking billionaire is just like buying another fucking golf club or whatever.
Brilliant. I love it.
Love to see it.
Great story.
The Prati said that he pushed up the hourly rate from $19 to $35 an hour.
I just
so dope.
Love that. Well, you're living in fucking New York City. Like, come on, $19 an hour. Like, it's like, and also just to get people out and doing it is, like he had no fucking problem getting the job done.
Yeah, and this is how people want their taxes to be spent.
Yes.
Right? Like clear the roads with my taxes. Yes, please. Thank you. So that people can walk around without slipping.
I'm just fucking thrilled with it. I think it's brilliant.
Let's see. What else do I have for you today?
Wait, I mean, I love the 17. I want to clarify that I'm thrilled for the 17-year-old. I'm so stoked that he could be as old as he is, as young as he is, and find his absolute purpose. I think like most 17-year-olds, I had 4 very, very heavy like dreams that I wanted for my life. I had no means to get them. I had no fucking, I didn't have any parents. I didn't have any NASA to like whatever. That this kid could fall into something that might be his destiny and his sole purpose is a thrill. It's wonderful. Even if he found a planet among trillions.
Okay, so should we segue to reading?
But I wanted some UFOs. I need a fucking kid, 17 or older or younger, to find us some UFOs. That's what I want. I want some like straight up. Well, I got a couple of things. You want me to get through my things too? Might as well, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Mine's not so uppity. A new California law says that all.
You don't say that.
No. Okay. Mine's not so enjoyable. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Let me get onto it. All right. Correctosaurus over there.
Correctosaurus.
A new California law says that all operating systems, including Linux, need to have some form of age verification at account setup. There it is, California, bro. And California, they set a lot of the sort of standards for many states in this country, and particularly for the way in which corporations interact with us. So even where they don't have laws set up, what they'll do, usually these operating systems, because they want that fucking data. So they'll just adopt this law from California.
Yeah.
And then they will just say, yeah, they don't need legislation. It's now terms and services. If you want to use.
Can you help me understand something?
Yeah.
Who wins and who loses by having age restriction verification?
The winners are kids. The kids,
but like absolutely unquestioningly, like that, like there's no way that the kids lose out.
I think the winners are kids. I think social media is I think social media is a young adult thing for sure. I don't think that social media is something that kids should partake in at all. I've seen the most horrific things that I've ever seen in my life in social media.
Even teenagers though?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know what the law is, but most laws or most governments seem to be looking at 16.
Okay.
And I think that, I think part of the reason why you would do 16 is because 16-year-olds are going to fucking find their way around anything you try to put in front of them anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 16 makes sense. I think that 18 would be too late. And I think that I think that preteen age is probably the worst time for social media exposure because you're like, God, beginning puberty and like having to compare yourself to everybody online is the worst.
Now, this isn't a social media rule, right? Law. This is a law that says that every user on an operating system is going to verify their age. It's not good.
Oh, okay.
It's a privacy thing.
So I'm sorry. So they're not going to restrict people. They just want to verify age.
They're going to verify age.
Sorry, they're not going to restrict people.
This law does not.
Oh, okay. So
I
it's
don't.
not-
This is I can't answer that question beyond this law, which is not a law that restricts anybody from doing anything. It's a law that requires anybody using any device to have a verified age registered with the operating system.
That seems really suspicious to me. That
It's
seems super
not good.
fishy.
I don't like it at all.
I thought you said that the winners were kids, but it just seems like they're just trying
No,
to catalog
when we were
people.
talking about you asked a question. You asked a question about why. So, and maybe I misunderstood the question, but as it relates to social media rules, and this age verification is because there's going to be an installation, and maybe there is in California. I'm not up on all of the California laws going down, but there's going to be an installation of laws throughout the country, if not federally, that are going to enforce these laws. The right is incredibly upset about porn getting to children. They don't care about the fucking president that they voted for being a pedophile. That does not bother them one bit. But the idea that the kids that he might have been, attacking, or kids like those, might have access to porn is repulsive to them. So that's really the sort of big driver behind this is the damage that they think porn is doing to the youth. And look, I have no data. Maybe porn is terrorizing the youth. I have no idea.
If you listen to Justin Baldoni, you think so.
Yeah. Anyway, so California law is requiring all operating systems. That sucks. That sucks. I have never in my life done that. I've never had to get on a phone and upload my ID. I've never had to do that when I start a new computer up or buy a new computer. Certainly not on PlayStations or anything else.
Yeah, it definitely seems like data harvesting. Like they want to know exactly what your demographic is when you, with everything that you do.
It'll eventually lead to that, because I don't know if you've ever seen these videos, but there's like all these videos of people like in China, for example, and all they use is their phone for everything.
Yeah.
They don't carry wallets. They don't carry ID. They don't carry anything like that.
Right. Which is like, it's scary, but also...
They love it.
I know, but they're not run by the same company, the same tech companies that we are.
But that's the same.
These tech companies are run by the absolute fucking worst people.
But those people,
fucking sociopaths.
The government knows everything about.
Yeah.
They know every fucking purchase they've made. So this, of course, goes to taxes. This goes to everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, obviously there's still cash and so on and so forth. It's crazy. I'm not happy about it. We'll see how it all shakes out. I'm 56. I don't have to fucking do this for too much longer anyway. You know what I mean? I got tops 30, I got 30 years of this shit tops. It's the 17-year-olds. It's the 16-year-olds, man. I'm just, those people are going to be like, they're going to never know what it was to be really, truly free. It's crazy. Like when I think about my youth, I was truly free.
Right. Everything changed so fast.
It's so crazy. Lindsay Lohan on Growing Up Under the Spotlight, she asked, this might be out of context, but I didn't read the entire article, but she said, why didn't anyone just go out and take me out of there and protect me more? And it just like, the reason why I didn't read the article is because I was just so struck by the words themselves and thinking about like the answer, the real answer to that question is because you're worth a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's because
they're all greedy.
You are cutting checks for people because you equal commerce. And so if you want something, darling, you're going to get it. And, getting fucked up with you for some people was a way to access, if not the money,
she
the
might
lifestyle.
not be talking about that context. She might just be talking about the context of being exploited for her work when she was smaller.
Whatever it might be, right? Because the answer is still the same. It doesn't change the answer. I think that this might have something to do with also, her very young exposure to a lot of substance abuse. Mm-hmm. Hollywood is a party, dude. Like they do a lot of it. Lots of partying. The clubs are full. And I didn't do a lot of it. I was back home writing a lot of the time.
Feels Bad Man is with us.
Yeah. What's up, Feels Bad Man?
This
feels
is
good,
interesting.
man.
So apparently there was an article about Don's Plum, according to Feels Bad Man,
Okay.
that KTLA made an article about Don's Plum.
Oh, yeah?
Do you want to type it in?
It's going to piss me off, isn't it?
I don't know. I think Feels Bad Man says, I think Leo's publicist revealed that he was donating to a library to distract from the news.
Yeah, that's what he fucking does. Didn't I write that? I think that's in the book. I'm in trouble. Library donation. KTLA? They didn't write about the book, though, did they?
No. And how everybody...
4 fucking years I wrote that book. Every article that comes out, it's like, and Dale Wheatley wrote a letter in 2014.
But not the book that you're trying
Not the
to sell.
fucking book that I toiled over for 4 years. And I'm now doing another multi-month pass on. Well, thank you for telling me. I'm going to go look that up. I'm not going to look it up right now. I'm nervous about it. I get nervous about that stuff. It gives me headaches. If I'm being honest. Well, thank you for telling me.
We have to.
Well, I did. There's a little activity in book sales right now, so maybe that's where it's coming from. More. I want more, man. Oh, please buy the book. Get me sued. I want to get sued.
They're not going to sue you.
I want to get sued.
There's no way they're going to sue you.
Come on.
Because then it would be so public about how much you're telling the truth.
I want to get
every
sued.
detail they would have to admit.
Anima
Yes, that happened.
Anima Jabrar 2003 said, "You made Don's Plum. That is a dream to be proud of, and your voice is heard around the world." Well, thank you. That's true. I am proud of it. I am. I live with the pride of that every day. I do. I love Don's Plum. I fight for it every day. I fight for that movie. I've been fighting for that movie for decades. For decades, I've been fighting for that movie. So it's not just that I'm proud of it. I want it to live forever. I want it to have the same immortality that any other film that is as good as Don's Plum is, and that has the kind of star power that Don's Plum has, to live forever. I just want it to live forever. And that's what I'm fighting for. If you haven't read this book, you really should. You'll love it. You can go to, what do you call it? Well, actually, I've got a Patreon right now. The link is in the description, and I'm doing a rewrite of this book right now. I'm doing a second edition. So this book has a new prologue, which I'm really proud of. That is, you can now listen to, because I'm like writing this thing kind of live on Patreon. So the link's in there. It's like $1 a month. And, or if you want to, throw some more in, please do. I mean, we're raising money to make content. That's really all we're doing. We're just raising money. I'm very excited about what we're doing. We're doing so much cool shit, including this, To Real Live.
Hanada has some scary news, had a family emergency.
I just saw something go.
Hanada said, my father-in-law had a stroke. I've been staying with staying with them at night. He went to the hospital with vomiting and dizziness, and they didn't catch it and send him home. Oh. That is so nuts, because even I know that if somebody has dizziness and vomiting or even nausea, that you definitely suspect a brain problem.
Damn it,
Hanada said, we're all shocked the hospital didn't catch it. They sent him home, and the next day he started losing mobility in the left arm and had eyesight problems.
God.
Currently, he's with side effects. Time will tell if he will have long-term problems. Demand head scans with contrast if anyone in your family has those random symptoms.
Man, that's just as horrifying as it gets.
It's just so frustrating that the hospital overlooked it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Well, I'm really glad that he had family to be around and take care of him.
Deanne, she had she lost a colleague who died at 63 in her sleep. Well, wow, that's terrible. Wow, you guys, I'm sorry this is happening, man.
Horrible.
I hope you guys, hope you guys are all right. That's fucking terrible. Man.
Hanada said, it's my brother's father-in-law. We're all very close. My nieces have been staying with me at night after school while my sister-in-law is in the hospital the whole day.
Well, it's entirely frightening, and I'm sorry you're going through it, and I'm sorry for your.
It's so fortunate to have family close to take care and take shifts like that. That's really great.
Yeah, I mean, medicals sometimes they miss things, man. It's just, and when it happens to you, it just feels like the whole system failed. But sometimes they just miss shit. It's weird, man. It's scary. Mm-hmm. It's scary because you're like,
You're like,
That's all you got.
What else am I supposed to do?
There's nothing you can do. You go to the guy says you're good. You go home, you die, or you have a stroke, or you have some fucking horrible thing happen.
Amina said, I was told about your book because people on TikTok were talking about it.
Oh, really?
Have you been on TikTok lately?
I haven't. I have to do more TikToking. I stopped TikToking and YouTubing. It's so much, now I'm doing the Patreoning. And
are you even allowed to be on TikTok unless you like upload your DNA sample or whatever?
No, yeah, I'm there, and we got like almost 10,000 followers, and
A scientist.
oh my God,
A scientist has good news.
I just saw that.
I have some good news to balance out the bad news. My paper got published this week. Congratulations.
Oh my God, that is so fucking amazing.
A scientist said, only have a few days left of this experiment, and then this stage of my project is finished.
That's just amazing to me.
That must feel great to be at the end of a hard work well done.
I am. It's staggering, really, to be like, that's just crazy. Anna Majibar said, "Come and make movies in Saudi Arabia. We're doing Project 2030, which is the goal to become the new global center of culture and excellence." Yeah, you never know. I mean, I don't really have the means or the.
You're not the most like mobile person.
Yeah. Also, I'm mostly a controversial guy. You know what I mean? So if I'm gonna get like, yeah, I need to go to a country that's like, if I'm gonna go to another country, I need to go to a country that does not give a fuck about me, because if I go to like a China or a Saudi Arabia, I'm gonna start talking about their leaders or something, and then you're gonna end up in prison.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna end up in prison. I'm just like those guys. I was like, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth when it comes to, being able to flap my gums. And I'm already in a situation where I talk shit about the pedophile in the White House, and I'm asking for trouble and getting my ass
Yes,
booted.
but I'm sure that if they're recruiting foreign artists, right, foreign filmmakers, that they probably have it all set up to
sussed out,
accommodate that.
Yeah, until you just do the one thing you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, ooh. But anyway, you never know though. You never know. I mean, I'm never going to leave a stone unturned. So you never know. Right now, my focus is on building this community out and really working on saving Don's Plum as much as this is kind of, I'm trying to protect the one good thing that I got. I have projects to make. We'll see. Who knows? I just, it's interesting. The difficulty in like moving to a country like Saudi Arabia to make a movie is that a lot of what I do is cultural. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, I'm not a Spielberg. I'm more like a Mike Lee. I'm more like Altman. I'm more like a guy who likes to tell stories that are born of the culture I'm in. So if I was going to I had dreams of going to Brazil and learning Portuguese, and then making a movie in Brazil in Portuguese. That to me is like exciting. I'm like, it would take me years to pull off, and especially to get to the point where I could work improvisationally with actors.
It sounds just the same.
You think?
Yeah, you should look into this thing.
Yeah, you never know. I will. And thank you for coming and sharing with us, the opportunity and just your love for the movie and for the book and everything. You're just so sweet. I'm also very controversial, and there's that. I think I've just lived fearfully of that.
Amina said they are recruiting creators of the West, so you would be very welcome.
It's very interesting. Well, it's definitely worth looking into. I'll have to go do some research for sure. I mean, I love to make film, that. All right, let me get through the last few things I have. Judge slams Shia LaBeouf for his homophobic slur and orders drug testing. So now there was this video of Shia LaBeouf running away from court because paparazzi and whatnot. Anyway, so he's I just hope this fucking kid gets the help he needs, bro. Like he is just out of control, and it's sad. You remember this feels like Robert Downey Jr. 2.0, And maybe he can pull a Robert Downey Jr. and get sober and get out of it.
Well, I heard that some tabloids are reporting that apparently him and Mia Goth are not together anymore, that they split up.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's a lot of woo-woo, witchy content creators that talk about how sometimes men will experience a great downfall because according to them, in their superstitious beliefs,
Yeah.
which are very interesting to me.
Uh-huh.
That some men who are bad will partner with a woman and then be protected spiritually by her. That she offers spiritual protection to them. And it's not until they break up with this woman that you find that they're like a complete mess and their life turns to shit and they have legal problems and everything because they're no longer spiritually protected. And like, I don't believe any of that, but I really love the mythology of it.
I can get with it. I can get with that. I think that we mingle spiritually. I think that a part of why, like, I am a believer in the soul's sort of, continuation. I don't believe in any kind of permanence of death whatsoever, in terms of our consciousness, or not our consciousness, but our soul, our sort of singular energy, if you will, that which identify as or am. So I believe in that, and I believe that it gets mingled. I believe that we are mingled. I don't believe that we can ever be separate, and
it's interesting because I think the superstition is that she has guides who are protecting her.
Yeah.
And so when she ends up in a partnership with a man who does not deserve protection, they will protect him so that no harm comes to her, so that distress doesn't come to her.
Yeah.
But then ultimately he'll ruin the relationship somehow because he sucks and he's a dirtbag. And so she'll leave him, and so she'll bring her protective guides with her and depart from him. So then you see, and look, like, if that's true that they broke up and now he's like an absolute fucking mess and he's now in all this legal trouble and he's getting his shit kicked out of him on street corners, like, it's interesting,
It really is. It's wild shit. We'll see what happens. I hope that he gets his shit together, and I think that if he does, I think he's one of those special guys who, like, if he could just, get his brain straight, he could stop being abusive to himself and to the people around him, and start getting centered in on what his truth is, and find real purpose and something beyond the terror of his consciousness.
I don't know that I'm a big fan of Shia LaBeouf. I think that he is a really, really fun actor. And before I heard about all of his bad behavior, I was always excited to see the work that he was doing. But since I heard about his bad behavior and the allegations against him, I do not root for him in any way. And I don't think that he deserves a redemption story. I don't think that he should be around people, period. Much less working in Hollywood or continuing to be a creator that people admire.
Well, listen, I mean, that's fine. I'm interested in him rehabilitating. I'm interested in him getting better. I'm interested in putting behind him these ways that are terrorizing the people around him. Whether or not that in that process he finds himself as an artist and a true man and whatever, that's fine.
I know, it's interesting.
But what he is in is a spiral downward.
I know,
and he's pulling all these people with him down toward that.
If he went on this redemption arc, how would you ever believe it? Because the allegations about him are that he's a big manipulator.
It has to be over time. It's the kind of thing that he has to earn over time. This is the part that I think is the biggest obstacle for a lot of people in his position. Because there is no immediate gratitude, there is no immediate accomplishment, there is no immediate acceptance. Robert Downey Jr. was sober when he announced he was sober, but he wasn't sober until he had a couple years behind him, and Hollywood was like, "All right, let's put the big picture on him now," and he ended his ways of abusing himself and the others around him, to the extent, at least, that he reputationally was repaired enough to be able to go out back into the public and be a performer and all that other stuff. And that stuff, aside, the career and the doing stuff, whatever, that he would enjoy, for example, put all that aside, he's still an incredibly abusive human being. He is assaulting Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Robert Downey Jr.
He's abusing human beings. He's abusing himself. He's abusing women. He's abusing patrons at bars.
I mean, he's not beating the fucking allegations. He just had this. He had to settle that lawsuit with his ex-girlfriend, who was oddly represented by Brian Friedman, and now he's out doing the same shit that she was saying that he's capable of doing. It's fucking weird.
Well, my hope is that he gets better. I think that until he does, he's a threat to people around him. I feel bad for those who have any attachment, who are mingled with him, who are spiritually mingled with this guy, because those people are going to have to deal with, this continued, deluge of just despicable behavior that is driven by his condition and less probably driven by his intentions. Like this, you see the tape, and I know what's happening to him. He's come apart completely, and he's grown dependent, and has probably for a very long time, on substances that won't allow that to repair. And until he does, there's no way that he has any chance of escaping the abusive cycle that he's in. And that cycle, of course, is harming far more people than just himself. So this is why I want him to change more than anything. It's not about like caring about him. I mean, just get better and stop fucking harming yourself and harming others, and then let the healing begin. And when the healing begins, we'll see what happens.
That's what Manderley said in the chat. I'm not more worried about him than about the people he keeps hurting.
Right, of course. See, that's what it's all about. The whole thing is about stopping this guy from how far will it go? How far will it go? Will he end up killing somebody? Like you have to root for him to succeed. Because until he does, everyone else around him is at risk. Radiohead tells Trump's Homeland Security to go fuck yourselves after the song they used in the ICE video. Do you know what's so interesting about this, though? I noticed this today that Radiohead is now like, oh, you're using my music. They just use the music, and they just get away with it.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that I haven't heard of a single lawsuit filed against the United States government for copyright infringement. I just haven't.
No, there's always these like cease and desist, but there's never.
So what? They used it. They got what they wanted. The video's out.
Yeah, that's what I'm agreeing with you. So what? Yeah.
Yeah, I know you are. Did you think I was ready to? I was like, you want to go? You want to go? You want to? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, to me, it's like, okay, we'll tell them to fuck off.
Do you know what song it was?
I don't know, but I'm sure the article will tell me. I just don't think
I just think
it's like the government just gets away with whatever.
Which song do they want to use? A fucking Radiohead. That's so strange.
Oh, probably the national anthem. No. That's what I would use. Right away.
Hail to the Thief.
Let Down.
That's the one?
Yeah.
I don't know that one. I mean, I'm sure I do. I just don't know the title.
Misappropriating the track. They said, fuck off, fuck you for... we demand that the amateurs in control of the ICE social media account take it down. It ain't funny. This song means a lot to us and other people, and you don't get to appropriate it without a fight. Also, go fuck yourselves, Radiohead. That's fun. That's super fun. And then there's like the Are They Zionists that always hangs out over them. Okay. Anyway, let me see what else I got. I got a couple more things.
We're never going to get to it.
What? The reading?
Yeah.
It's 20 pages. We'll get through it. Ayahuasca.
It's not 20 pages. I've actually discovered more pages.
Ayahuasca, psychedelics, and DMT shows promise as depression therapy.
Ayahuasca, DMT?
DMT.
Is it the same thing?
Isn't that mescaline?
I don't know if DMT and mescaline are the same thing. I mean, I guess they're like, I don't know whether...
Oh, ayahuasca, psychedelic, DMT.
Yeah, because I think DMT is like the active ingredient...
Of ayahuasca?
Of mescaline.
Right. Anyway, it's showing promise as a depression therapy.
Oh, I bet.
I hope that they can get, because you these thoughts of suicide things with these fucking drugs, bro. Like all these prescription drugs that are like wreaking havoc on your organs.
The reason why
like
it's very simple because they mimic serotonin, so that like it gives you like a euphoric feeling.
Yeah.
And so that's just like, it's just hijacking your serotonin receptors in your brain and feeding them. And so, of course, that would make anybody feel better. But what's really interesting about this is that it isn't just momentary. It isn't just like as long as the dose lasts.
Right.
It has a lasting effect, which is really remarkable. This is what people can't really explain. Is like, how come it's healing people?
And it's microdosing. It's not, they're not talking about hero dosing.
I don't know why it's not in fucking pill form sold at pharmacies all over the fucking nation.
I'll tell you what. Well, because they're, You know why?
Like because
Pfizer and fucking everybody else won't have it unless there's a way that they can patent it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Put it on the shelves for $800.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why aren't they just like getting ahead of this? Just being like, drop some in every glass of water you drink. Put
a drop in, it'll be good.
Everybody would be clicking their heels.
Anyway, I just hope that there's some treatment that comes out for depression. that can help people escape the darkness without having the threat of that darkness completely enclosing them, which is, for me, when I was in the deepest depths of my depression, the last thing I would do would go and seek help from conventional medicine, and just for fear of the fact that I was already in this ideation stage. And so then I'm going to like add the fucking additional risk that it goes wrong and I go all the way in my thoughts, right? Because I knew I was still standing on the edge. And you can take you can get on these prescriptions and you can get pushed off that edge in a hurry, in a fucking hurry.
It's really risky.
And I didn't want to take that risk in my own mind consciously. I was like, because I knew I was in a fight, so I wasn't gonna lose the battle. I was gonna lose the war to an experiment. And so I just hope that there's treatment coming that doesn't have that immense and horrible risk that maybe somebody like Chris Cornell succumbed to. Mm-hmm. And this is like the scary part. We know that because we know that they advertise it, and they're by law, they have to tell us that thoughts of suicide is a part of the risk factor of taking their drug that's supposed to help them out of suicide. It's mentioned in my book. It's a frightening thing. Anyway, and then the last thing I have is author of The Terror and Hyperion Cantos, Dan Simmons, has passed. If you don't know who he is, he's a really good writer, man. Died at 70, whatever it was, 77. And if you haven't checked out his books, the two books that he's most known for, and one of them became a series that we watched. We both read the book as well. The Terror. It's a good book.
Terror is wonderful. It's actually like in the top 5 ever of like
Wendigos.
Huh?
Wendigos. Isn't that a Wendigo book?
I don't think it's a Wendigo book specifically.
Okay.
Wendigos are usually in the forest. This one is more like...
Yeah, it's a winter Wendigo.
If you ever look at like, desolate landscape, like winter, like Arctic expedition, whatever type of horror survival stories. Yeah. The Terror is always up there. It is so great. And the series did a really, really good job. He's
a genre jumper too. Hyperion is
sci-fi.
It's sci-fi. It's supposed to be amazing. Like it's supposed to be his best work.
It sounds familiar.
I think they might have. I'd have to look. But anyway, Dan Simmons, he's dead. He is a writer. He is a good writer. And if you ever want to check out one of his books, start at The Terror, start at Hyperion Cantos, and you'll be spoiled forever.
I'm sorry, Hyperion
Cantos.
That's one title?
Yep.
Oh. It's so weird. I never heard of it. It's got to be fantasy because I don't know anything.
It is fantasy. I've heard of it. It always shows up in our suggest me a book for like the best of the best, and when they go like best sci-fi, and it's always in there.
Neat.
Anyway, so R.I.P. Dan Simmons. Thank you for your words, sir. All right, that's all I got. Let's get down to the tea.
Do you remember why you read The Terror?
I was where I get most of my books now is I'm usually in Suggest Me a Book, and
That's
then
so good.
and then they go, and then I just drill deep until I find something that goes okay. And somebody mentioned something about The Terror, and I was like, it was Halloween.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's going to be my Halloween book, and so I ripped through that one for October,
so
a couple years ago, whatever it was.
Okay. Danny Greenberg is Justin Baldoni's agent. Was. And so I feel like his deposition is a good way to understand how Justin Baldoni was talking about the various crises to his agent. Because I don't believe that Danny Greenberg has like the full scoop. He's hearing it from Justin. Okay?
Yeah.
You know of Miss Lively. Have you ever met Miss Lively? He says, yes. How many times? He says, twice. And Miss Lively is a client of your agency, is that correct? Danny Greenberg says, yes. Have you personally been invited in Miss Lively's representation? I'm sorry, not invited. Involved. Have you personally been involved in Miss Lively's representation? He says, no. Why don't we actually begin at the beginning? What is your occupation? He says, I'm a talent agent. I don't know why this skips so many pages, but that's all we saw from that page. Now, you're familiar with the parties to this case, having read the complaint. In other words, who the plaintiff is and who the defendants are. He says, yes. And is it correct that at some point in time you represented Mr. Baldoni, a defendant in this case? He says yes. How long did you represent Mr. Baldoni in your capacity as a talent agent? Danny Greenberg says around 5 years. I started representing him after he directed his first movie, roughly the second half of 2019. Danny Greenberg started representing Justin Baldoni after he directed his first movie, roughly the second half of 2019. I don't know why you don't have an agent.
Me?
Yes. You're like constantly doing work, like solo. And somebody could be exploiting you for money. You know?
Get me an agent.
I know. Somebody get Dale an agent.
Maybe Too Real, a Hollywood memoir, the second edition will. Because maybe it'll get, more. That prologue's a killer.
Okay. The attorney's asking, and are you familiar with an entity called Wayfair? He says yes. And Wayfair Studios, is that or has that been a client of William Morris's? If you know, he said yes. And would you be the talent agent who would have primarily responsible? I guess there's typos in this.
Yeah, or just the stenographer, nodding out.
Yeah, like there's a double word here.
Carbon monoxide poisoning, probably.
And would you be the talent agent who would have primarily been responsible for the representation of Wayfair? He said there was a team that represented Wayfair. The primary representation, Danny Greenberg's continuing, the primary representation of Wayfair was through William Morris Endeavor's independent division. I was involved in that representation, but my primary responsibility was representing Justin as a director and an actor. Question. And again, approximately how many years or how long did you represent Mr. Baldoni in your capacity as an agent for William Morris? He said 5 years. Do you still represent Mr. Baldoni? He said no. Why not? Danny Greenberg says we released Mr. Baldoni or Justin and Wayfair right around December 22nd of 2024.
And this is and who's, do you know who's questioning him? Is it Duder?
I don't know.
Okay, well we'll find out.
Yeah, sometimes when it's Garofalo is doing the asking. Usually it's they don't have the stenographer doesn't record it until another lawyer speaks up, and then they differentiate with which lawyer. But on the transcript, it just says Q and A. Okay. Okay. We released Mr. Baldoni or Justin and Wayfair right around December 22nd of 2024. The attorney asks, okay, let me start with who is we? He said the agency. And was there some event that prompted Mr. Baldoni's dismissal as a client of William Morris? He's asking for a repeat of the question after Ms. Gavernsky objected to the form. I'm sorry. Ms. Garofalo repeats the question. The attorney says, I'll rephrase it. Did something happen that caused William Morris to drop Mr. Baldoni as a client? He says, yes.
Naturally. No. We were just like, you know what I feel like doing today? Dropping Justin Baldoni. I don't know why. I just want to do it. Dude, they did that with regret.
That they dropped him?
Yeah.
Yeah, with his money bags.
Yeah, for sure. And the success he was having.
I don't know why I don't get to see the rest of this. It sucks. It seems like it'd be really relevant, but it skips a bunch of pages. Page 35. Ms. Garofalo asks, on the set, making comments, offering his opinions, anything at all. He says yes. Okay, and tell me what Mr. Reynolds' involvement was, if you can. Danny Greenberg says, at that point, my understanding was really just support and perhaps some creative feedback that he may have worked through Blake to to Justin and the team. Outside of that, I'm not aware of any other creative contributions he was making. Ms. Garofalo asks, okay, so you told me that there were basically two subjects covered in the call with Mr. Reynolds. The first were certain aspects of Justin's behavior. Tell me what Mr. Reynolds said. Danny Greenberg says he brought up incidents that happened between Justin and Blake. We discussed a few of those, and then we translated and moved on to talking a bit about the movie. Ms. Garofalo asks, what instances did Mr. Reynolds describe to you during the phone call prior to the premiere? He says, Danny Greenberg says, he brought up an incident of Justin and the production playing a birthing video. He brought up an instance of Justin inquiring about Blake's weight through a third party. He also brought up Justin's behavior with respect to doing the electronic press kit. Also, Justin's behavior having to do with I believe there was a coffee table book in discussion that came up mentioned something about the production hiring a doctor on the film that was a friend of his. Then had a discussion about Ryan's opinion of the cut that he had seen. We had a discussion about that as well. Interesting. Question. Anything else that Mr. Reynolds raised with you with respect to instances of Justin's behavior on the call 2 or 3 weeks prior to the premiere? He says, not that I recall beyond what I've said. It's so interesting that that Ryan Reynolds spoke to Danny Greenberg about him hiring a friend to play the doctor in the birth scene. Because that was something that you were like, that is like the biggest, like that flag to you as a dude. You were like, I understand exactly what the fuck that is.
Everybody knows what he was doing there.
Yeah.
You don't put your best friend between Blake Lively's legs because there's no other role for him.
Yeah.
You don't.
Unbelievable. Okay. Did Mr. Reynolds have any an attitude? Was he angry, happy about the film? Was there any indication of Mr. Reynolds' state of mind? And he says this gets cut off, but his answer is I think he was a bit angry. He seemed a bit defensive.
About the cut?
No, about all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
They're not clarifying which one.
I mean, what husband is going to be like, anyway, whatever, Blake's a pain in the ass, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I guess there are some assholes out there that wouldn't be thoroughly offended, but I would be if you came home and told me the shit that Blake Lively is saying.
No, you'd be fuming.
I'd be fuming.
You'd be out the front door.
I'd be like, why can't you fucking be professional in this situation, dude?
Okay, so this is a big jump. Okay.
There's a responsibility that comes with working with A-list actors. There just is. They have too much on the line.
Okay, this is a big jump in the transcript. So what we get to see next is Danny Greenberg answering a question, which I'm not able to read. Visiting a client, which is what I do when my clients are directing films. Question, by the way, where was the film shot? Let's stick with the first phase of filming. If you know, he said in New Jersey, I believe. Ms. Garofalo continues. Okay, very briefly, let's mark as Exhibit 3 another one of your chats. This one is dated November 14th, 2023. Okay, and in this one, the second dark box, the dark blue box, about 2/3 of the way down, it's a message from you to Mr. Baldoni, to Mr. Heath, rather. Is that correct? He says, so let's see here. So what's your question? And Ms. Garofalo says, I guess my question is that one directed to Mr. Heath or Mr. Baldoni? He says, it looks like it was a conversation between Justin and me. I don't know if we get to see this. It's Exhibit 3. I don't know what this is. Okay, and you say to Mr. Baldoni, yep, and I'm here to have your back and remind you that you need me, not that you need me to, that you are the man and you are going to crush this. And I don't know why we get to see that one page. Do you think that Justin Baldoni just referenced it in his in some proceeding where he was like, yeah, hey, by the way, remember when Danny Greenberg said, you're the man and you're going to crush this? That was pretty great.
It's literally his job to say that, even if like half the time they say that to people who are like doing like, fucking adult diaper commercials. You know what I mean? Like it's
you are going to crush this.
You are going to crush this.
Okay. Sorry for jumping around so much, but here is the next bit I can see. Ms. Garofalo, the attorney, says, Exhibit 13 is another chat, this time with Mr. Heath. It's dated Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024, and Mr. Baldoni is included. And in the first chat, he says, in quotes, please tell Josh that I'm willing to waive my, quote, a film buy credit, close quote. I want peace and for this to end. Would you look at that?
So this is Justin Baldoni.
Baldoni says, please tell Josh Greenstein, I'm sure, that I'm willing to waive my a film buy credit. I want peace and for all this to end. Question. Did you have any understanding of what Mr. Baldoni was saying in Exhibit 13? He says, yes. What was he saying to your understanding? Danny Greenberg says, Jamie reached out to me to let me know that Blake had made a request that Justin take off his film buy credit, and which opened up another conversation that we had to have strategically. And ultimately, Justin made the decision to waive his film buy credit for her. Yet another instance.
For her.
Where Mr. Baldoni made the decision to waive his film buy credit for her. Yet another instance where even if it's caving, he does the thing, and now he wants to punish her for it. But it's his decision to make. And he goes and makes the decision that she is asking him to make.
So he makes a compromise, and then he's angry for the compromise. And I mean, look, that happens. I mean, I've done that in my past where I've like conceded and then later regretted my concession. But
Yeah.
but
Did
listen,
you sue somebody for that?
here's the thing. His fucking film by credit is the most useless thing in the world.
Yeah, of course. Question: was Miss Lively at this point in time still threatening not to participate in publicity if Mr. Baldoni didn't agree to waive his film by credit? And he said, "I'm not aware of that." Mm-hmm. Okay, the next thing I can see is this is a question.
It's so crazy when you think about like what's going on in this case. Brian Friedman is getting sued by Fuentes. What's the name? What's his name?
Travis Flores.
Flores. He's getting sued by Travis Flores. Now Steven Sarowitz is being sued by this other woman for racial, age, and religion discrimination, among other charges, including claims, including retaliation. I don't know, man. There's just these guys are just in trouble all the time, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They're just in fucking trouble, you know. And it's so funny because they're roasting Blake Lively. And this isn't a debate about whether Blake Lively is a good or a bad person. They're roasting her, but the one who has a very recent, very crowded history of controversy related to the way he treats people is Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has a fucking track record
him and
of
Sarowitz,
mistreating people constantly. Everybody's saying it. I've said it before on It Ends With Lawsuits, where I'm just sitting there going, okay, let's do some fucking accounting. Look at all the people saying Justin Baldoni's the dick, and look at all the people saying Blake Lively is the dick. It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so here is several pages later. I've got this like in the middle of a question. So I don't know what the context of this is, and I'm expecting to see quotes, but for some reason this transcript is a different format than the other transcripts I've been reading. And so I'm not sure whether they even do quotes. But this sounds like the lawyer's reading. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up in the middle of this lawyer's question. They are your partners. It was theirs too. In other words, you want to mention this AM event, their acknowledgement of the continued extortion and effort to gain control of the film. At the time you sent these suggestions for letter to Sony. So I'm assuming that all of that was read. At the time you sent these suggestions for letter to Sony, you sent to Mr. Baldoni. Had you had discussions with anyone at Sony about Miss Lively's effective attempts at extortion? Danny Greenberg says, I had ongoing...
Effective attempts at extortion.
Had you had discussions with anyone at Sony about Miss Lively's effective attempts at extortion?
Wow. And there's no objection to that question?
Objection to form.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Danny Greenberg said, I had ongoing conversations with Ange Giannetti, the executive on the project, about the behavior that Blake was displaying along the way, and at this point in time, what was on the table was the premiere issue. Garofalo asks, you were choosing your words very carefully, weren't you? Objection to form. From two lawyers. Danny Greenberg says, I don't remember my state of mind when I wrote this letter. Garofalo asks, is it your practice to choose why you are words carefully? This has got to be typos. Is it your practice to choose your words carefully when conveying an important message? He says, I do my best. And you use the words extortion in this chat, suggesting to Mr. Baldoni that what he might write to Sony, correct? Danny Greenberg says, yes, it's in the text. Miss Garofalo says, that's a pretty strong word, isn't it? He says, that gets two lawyers objecting to form. Danny Greenberg says, it felt appropriate at the moment.
Whoa.
So the extortion word came from Danny Greenberg, you think?
Appears to be.
That's interesting. Garofalo says, you anticipated my next question. Thank you. When you go on to say, but don't in any way put Sony on the defensive or indict them, then if you can be contrite in some capacity very briefly, acknowledging the two of you had your moments, which she would dissect your energy, word choice, and personality frequently, that led to mutual discomfort working with one another. Not everyone gets along kind of thing. Not all personalities are compatible. Now, when you were suggesting to Mr. Baldoni that he write something to Sony saying, you know, other people have agreements or downplaying the agreements, did you believe that Mr. Baldoni was taking Miss Lively's conduct too seriously? That gets 2 objections. Danny Greenberg says, I'm not really following the question. Okay, I'll withdraw it. You used the word extortion, correct? He says, yes. Garofalo says, sounds to me like you believed at the time of this chat, July 26, 2024, that it was more than just ordinary incompatibility between Mr. Baldoni and Miss Lively. Is that a true statement? He says, I think my use of the word extortion there was referencing just cumulative behavior that both the studio and Wayfair and Justin was having to manage, and so that's why I used the word. Ms. Garofalo says, that would be more than just a disagreement between 2 different personalities, wouldn't it, Mr. Greenberg? And this gets cut off. I don't get to see the rest of this, but he starts saying, well, their personalities, again, I think the text speaks for itself, but I think they were not getting along, and so I think that's important. I was suggesting to Justin that he be, and that gets cut off. I can't believe it. I can't believe I don't get to see that. He is not explaining. Maybe he does later, and I don't know why I don't get to see it, but he's not explaining why he used the word extortion. According to him, it's the same as if you say, I think they're not getting along. Their personalities, I think the text speaks for themselves, but I think they were not getting along. That doesn't make extortion.
Isn't that weird, man?
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Danny Greenberg. Okay.
Listen, the other thing to recognize here, very important to recognize, is that agents are there to work for their client.
Yeah, and he's only hearing the story from Justin.
Correct. He's not going to get Blake's side. He's not
going to be doing investigating.
When he says those things about the Holy Trinity dealing with Blake Lively, he's hearing that from his client. He's not hearing that from, like, we already know that the head of who's the head over there again? Was it Ari Emanuel? Whoever it was.
I found the text, by the way, if you want to hear the whole thing.
But yeah, I do. But before you do, we already know that the head of the agency had totally different things to say. It's like looking at what's his name from Sony, the guy we just did,
Josh Greenstein.
Josh Greenstein versus Ange Giannetti. This guy is not, the high-end guy compared to the head of the agency. And this guy, let me just go get that. But this guy, let me get that.
So unnecessary. Is the sky falling? We're very protected. You fixed it. Okay, come back. I found the text message. Is everybody okay? Are we safe?
What if I came back covered in blood?
Okay, come back. Dale.
Because as soon as I turn away, she purses her lips.
Yeah, she puckers.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm going to bark again. I wonder if somebody knocked on the door or something.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Okay, I'm back.
Screw them.
Yeah, screw them.
Okay, so Danny Greenberg's text message, okay?
Yeah.
Found it.
Yeah.
So this is to Justin Baldoni. The date is July 26, 2024. Okay?
Yeah.
Danny Greenberg says...
Come in there. All right, I gotta go. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I just got a bad door.
Do you want to just shut the door? I mean, don't close that door because it doesn't close because our house is fucking ancient. Bro, I'm trying to read this to you.
Well, yeah. We're being disturbed by a dog. I can't listen while a dog's singing a choir over there.
Danny Greenberg says to Justin Baldoni, this is July 26, 2024. So this is just like 2 weeks before the premiere.
Okay.
He says, start with this. Overall, to articulate to your partners and friends at Sony, this request is a bridge too far, that we have all done our best to accommodate one request after another, but to expect me, my family, my partners, and company to not attend the premiere is simply outrageous, and enough has to be enough. The note should not feel like you're defending yourself in any way, but rather presenting a chain of events, requests, and continued behavior on her part that has now led us to this. Another outrageous position that not even you could have predicted. Not even you could have predicted, because they're like, you know how you're like the most paranoid guy ever? Not even you could have predicted it. Once you begin your letter, he says to Justin Baldoni, once you begin your letter, pivot from your opening couple of sentences to laying out your and your partner Sony perspective of the chain of events along the way has led us to where we are now, meaning it wasn't just your experience, they are your partners, it was theirs too. In other words, what you mentioned this AM about their acknowledgement of the continued extortion in an effort to gain control of the film. But don't in any way put Sony on the defensive or indict them. Then, if you can contribute in some capacity very briefly, acknowledging, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Then if you can be contrite in some capacity, very briefly acknowledging that the two of you had your moments where she would dissect your energy, word choice, and personality frequently, that led to mutual discomfort working with one another. Not everyone gets along kind of thing. Not all personalities are compatible, etc. Start moving into the chronological storytelling, the slow continued build-up on her part to achieve her ultimate goal of literally taking the movie from you, Sony and Wayfarer, and effectively having final cut. Be sure to include the testing process, the results, etc. Overall, find a way to pepper in the fact that she is talented and she did contribute and is wonderful in the movie. Remember, you wrote that PGA letter, so be consistent with your praise. But at the same time, keep in mind you never doubted her talent and ability as an actress. It's everything that came with it that has led us to here, which has been so disappointing and startling for you. We can discuss more.
It sounds like an agent doing his job and doing it kind of well, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's doing his job well. I think he's doing, he's first of all, it's like, we sit here and we say, and then this will might sound like a bit of an absurd comparison, but it's really not. We sit here and we say, what else did you expect Ryan to do? What else did you expect this man to do?
Danny Greenberg.
What did you expect Danny Greenberg to do? He's going to try and protect this guy. He's going to believe his client first and foremost. He's going to believe his client. Unless he has reason not to, and I don't think he does.
When his client Justin Baldoni says she's stealing the movie, he's going to be like, "Oh, okay, so she's stealing the movie."
Right?
Like he's not going to conduct an investigation about it.
No. So I think that this is that text and all of this is him doing his job. I think Danny Greenberg believes his client or believed his client. Maybe he still does. There's if Blake Lively is considered by some to be a pain in the ass, she will not. This is going to shock a lot of people. But she will not be the first movie star to be a pain in the ass when making movies in Hollywood.
What I also noticed about this is that since he's only getting the information from his client Justin Baldoni, he is not actually understanding why she would want to say these things and have this make this ultimatum about the premiere. He doesn't recognize that the fact that Justin Baldoni's been like trying to kiss her and trying to figure out ways for him to write into the script that he has to cup her naked breast and like all of this other stuff, like showing her, Jamie Heath showing her nude videos, home videos.
What do you think about
like
her?
All of this crazy, like that Justin Baldoni said that he spoke to her dead father? He certainly did not tell Danny Greenberg about that.
What do you think about the Hailey Bieber text and so on and so forth?
Right, exactly.
What do you think about Blake Lively not wanting him to go to the premiere at all? Like, and trying to get that outcome. What do you think of that? Do you have any thoughts about that? Does that bother you at all? Like, how do you feel about it?
I think that the situation, I see it a little bit differently. It's not, I think that she's focused on herself and her obligations. I don't think that she's as focused on him. You said Blake Lively didn't want him to go to the premiere at all. I don't see it that way.
Well, that's what Greenberg's saying right there.
Well, he is hearing
and
from Justin
Baldoni. And that's not the only person to say that.
Listen, Justin Baldoni is thinking of himself also. But what I think happened with Blake Lively is she was like, listen, I have obligations to market this film as the star of the movie, I have to be at the premiere because Sony marketing is putting me there. I don't want to be around Justin Baldoni. So how do we figure that out?
I get all that.
I understand. So how do we figure that out? How can I do my obligations to market this movie and attend the premiere and be the shining light everybody's expecting me to be, and also avoid having to do any of it with this guy? So if their compromise was, why don't we just exclude Baldoni so that she can do that thing? I think that is how that came about. I don't think that she was like, it seems like she's like, it's him or me, basically. Like, you want me there as the star of the movie, right? Okay, well then that means that he's not. You want him there as the director and producer and actor, then you can have him, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like she was like, guys, make it work like that. That's what I'm saying that I can do for you. You know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, that's a lot of hypothetical. Let's go to this hypothetical only. Not what did she say? How did she do it? How do you feel about the idea that she did it? Let me put it this way. If it's true that Blake Lively completely tried to block him from being there at all with his friends, his family, or whatever, and experiencing this moment where he's premiering his first big Hollywood movie, how would you feel about that?
That is a strange hypothetical because I can't imagine that was like, I don't think that that's ever going to be proven out that she cared about whether he attended with his family and friends, because what they did, the compromise was that they walked separately and it was fine. So obviously if that was something she was interested in, that wouldn't have been a compromise. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean,
like
that's
what she
not
wanted
true.
to do was not have pictures. Like Jenny
Slate
Slate was like, I will not fucking co-sign his bullshit. He's not going to take pictures next to me. I'm not going to be in a picture with Justin Baldoni so that he can continue to be the fucking hero that he frames himself to be when he's actually this much of a fucking pig behind, and on his set when nobody's watching. You know what I mean? And so I feel like they all felt that way, that they didn't want to be around him. And so the studio had a really difficult time trying to figure out, like, okay, how do you do both? And they came up with the solution. And the solution was just to have them walk separately, which shouldn't have been a big deal. I mean, I think a few people noticed and social media talked about it, and it didn't even need to continue past that. Nobody would have even cared anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is all hypothetical. I was kind of just trying to get a reaction about like whether or not that would be considered going too far for Blake to do that.
I can't imagine that was anybody's motivation to block him.
The question is if, but you refuse to answer it. But
I think it was about her and her needs and the cast and their needs.
I'm saying if what is being said is true, if what is being alleged is true.
He's seeing it that way because he thinks about himself.
I'm not asking that though. I can guess all that.
Okay, I'm going to get back to the deposition.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, this is several pages later. Let me see. Question: when did filming wrap on It Ends With Us? The attorney continues. This is actually a good time for a break. You've answered this question. If you need one, we'll keep going. Let me see. Okay, he answers this question. You may have a better sense of the date than I do, sometime in early 2024. I don't know the date. And then they take a break.
Well, it's about fucking time.
I know. I can't believe that I have this. I can't believe that this is so disjointed. It's very annoying. So really, they just included that page so we know if Danny Greenberg knows when the
timeline.
When did filming wrap on It Ends With Us? Sometime in early 2024. Okay.
It ended back in the day.
It's very annoying.
Boss.
Okay. Next question I can see. And you see the subject is... Okay, so they're sharing an email. I can see the lawyer end of a question said, you see that you received this, you're in the CC line. And he says, okay. He says, I do. The attorney says, and you see the subject is It Ends With Us proposed Sony co-production term sheet. He says, got it. Yep. Danny Greenberg says, it looks like a producer arranged an agreement between Wayfair and Sony. Question. And the attachment to at least Exhibit 22
is... producer? Is that what that said?
It looks like a producer arranged an agreement between Wayfair and Sony. Question. And the attachment to at least Exhibit 22 is proposal to Sony for It Ends With Us. Do you see that? He says, yes. Okay. And do you recall receiving this document? He said, no, I don't recall seeing it because I wasn't across this. My colleague, Deb McIntosh, was, but I was copied. Okay, and the opening email of Exhibit 22 states, Michael, on behalf of Wayfarer Studios attached, please find a proposed term sheet for a co-production for It Ends With Us. Do you see that document? He says, yes. Do you understand that Shylar Moore, who it looks to be a lawyer, was sending this to Sony on behalf of Wayfarer? Is that right? He says, looks that way, yeah. Okay, and if you could go to the next page. Oh, by the way, does Sony also go by Columbia? He says, yes. Okay, if we see Columbia in this, can we understand that to be referring to Sony? He said yes. Okay, so if you go to the page ending in 345 of Exhibit 22, paragraph 6, do you see that? He says yes. Okay, and if you see, it says director, Justin Baldoni to direct and have final cut rights, picture to be edited at a location of his choosing. Do you see that? He says yes. What does final cut rights mean? Danny Greenberg says, meaning that his cut of the movie would be the movie that would be released. Question. So do you understand that Wayfarer, in their proposal to Sony, was proposing that Mr. Baldoni would have final cut rights? He says yes. Okay. Let's go to Exhibit 23, please, and I'm going to ask you to turn to the exact same paragraph, which is located.
I mean, I feel like he's not doing his job then if he didn't know that there was this clause.
Who is not doing their job?
This is to Greenberg, right?
Danny Greenberg was CC'd. It was from an attorney to different Sony.
And his belief was that his client had final cut. Is that not correct?
The document says director Justin Baldoni to direct and have final cut rights, picture to be edited at a location of his choosing. And he says that this means that his cut of the movie would be the movie that would be released. Okay. Can anybody explain why Sony's not being sued then? That is a memo from Wayfarer to Sony, the two people who are responsible for this agreement.
There was clearly the clause that Ange Giannetti spoke about in her testimony. Mm-hmm. It was also referred to in Josh Greenstein's testimony that they had the bake-off clause. So I guess he's either ignoring the bake-off clause or he wasn't a part of that. Literally, the agent's job is to negotiate these deals.
Right.
Like that's in California, there are laws that license them, agents, to be, other than attorneys, the only people allowed to negotiate deals on behalf of talent.
This is really
he doesn't
interesting.
fucking know this?
Okay, so check this out.
Yeah.
She says, okay, so now let's go to Exhibit 23, please. And I'm going to ask you to turn to the exact same paragraph, which is located on the page ending in this Bates number. Same paragraph, paragraph 6. Let me know when you're there. He says, I'm there. She says, okay, and do you notice any changes in paragraph 6? He says, yes. She says, please explain. Danny Greenberg says, it says here, I'm assuming this is a response from Sony, that Sony does not customarily give directors a final cut, which is their response to Wayfarer asking for it.
Correct.
Amazing. Question. So specifically in paragraph 6, they put what appears to be brackets around to have final cut rights. Is that right? He says, yes. Question. And then they'd write in the last sentence, Columbia customarily doesn't give directors final cut. Do you understand that? He says, yes. Okay. And then let's go to the third Exhibit 24, where, and we can start on the cover page, which ends in this number. And then you see this is an email from, again, Mr. Moore saying, in quotes, attached, please find a clean and red line proposal with our remaining minor requested changes. Do you see that? He says, yes. Okay, and so let's go to the next page again. Same drill. Document ends in 369, paragraph 6. Do you see that paragraph? He says, yes. And what do you notice about paragraph 6 in this version? Danny Greenberg says, it now has become basically a scenario of testing the film, and it's ultimately, how that ultimately plays out will dictate which film will be released. Question. So paragraph 6 removes that language that Mr. Baldoni was to have final cut rights. Is that right? He says, correct. Amazing. Question. And it says instead, final cut to be determined by bake-off.
This is,
he says, yes,
before shooting.
Yeah. Question. What is a bake-off? Danny Greenberg says a bake-off is when
we make cookies. And it's got to be your favorite cookie, and you can maximum 4 ingredients.
And then we all eat them and then decide which one is best.
And then we go to schools and we test them with children with rotten teeth.
Question. What is a bake-off? Danny Greenberg says a bake-off is when a filmmaker comes to an agreement with a studio that if the movie tests at a certain level, not which one's best, okay? If the movie tests at a certain level, that the studio would release that particular version of the movie if it achieves those numbers in a test screening scenario. Question. And what happens if it doesn't achieve those levels? Danny Greenberg says, then the studio would not contractually be obligated to release that cut of the film.
Well, there you go.
Question. And what would be released instead? Danny Greenberg says they would probably come to some arrangement on ultimately what which cut should be released. And usually at that point, the studio and the filmmaker and the editor would work on a cut that everyone feels good about.
Question. Well, that's not exactly fucking true. That's not exactly true. In fact, most of the time they don't allow the director back in. And I know this to be fact because directors want to stick to the things that they're trying to get out in the first fucking place.
They were like, that's my best cut.
So they moved the cut to a producer's discretion. Typically, the producers take over on the cuts. That's not fucking uncommon. It's weird that he's saying that. I'm almost shocked by that. And you'd think he know more than me, and maybe he does, but that's my understanding.
Next question. So a bake-off contemplates more than one cut. He says a bake-off contemplates really in this. Well, let me look here because I don't see it referring to any other cut in here. The attorney says, well, how would it be a bake-off if it's only one cut? He says, the word bake-off really doesn't have, I'm not sure why it was used in this scenario because it's pretty clear. And the studio made it pretty clear, as did Wayfair, that once it hits the level in which it needed to hit, the studio would release Justin's cut. So I'm not sure why the word bake-off would be in this particular paragraph because it doesn't reference anything other than perhaps Sony's cut. That answers his question.
Yes.
He continues, in other words, if his cut tested at a certain level and along the way of post-production, Sony came up with another cut of the movie as a backup in the event that Justin's cut didn't reach the level in which it needed to reach, they can then theoretically put this contract and use the Sony cut.
It's so weird because
that would be my only interpretation of why there would be a bake-off.
That's so weird. He just seems to lack, sorely lack the reason behind it because it's all test audience based. It's all demographically based. It's all thematically based. Like obviously the studio didn't want to work with stronger images of domestic violence versus a more woman overcoming the obstacle of an abusive relationship, sort of perspective, right? So it's just weird. It's just weird because he's dancing around that.
Next question. And does this document contemplate any specificity regarding what you've called Sony's cut? Danny Greenberg says, well, it says Columbia's changes. So that would be the implication in this. If you were trying to find some version of why the word bake-off is there, but my interpretation in reading this, it's pretty clear that it's simply a function of how Justin's cut would test and whether or not Sony would have to engage or not because the movie didn't test at a certain level.
Correct.
The attorney says, you're not a lawyer, right? He says, no. Question. So are you saying that you would include the word bake-off?
By the way, agents are commonly lawyers.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah. So that's not like a snotty question.
They're commonly lawyers.
Yeah. Is it advisable to get an agent who's also a lawyer?
It's a bonus, but no, it's more advised to have an agent and a lawyer because then you have, checks and balances.
Oh, yeah, right. So they're not just like scamming you legally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Question. So are you saying that they would include the word bake-off even though they didn't really mean bake-off? He says no. Question. Okay. And so you see the last sentence refers to a cut incorporating Columbia's changes, right? He says, yep, yes. And it doesn't say here who would be responsible for creating a cut incorporating Columbia's changes, does it? He says, no, it does not. Okay. So as of at least the date of this document, which let's see when it is, October 2022, Mr. Baldoni understood that he would not have final cut rights. Is that right?
October 2022. Let's make a where is this so that people can find this? Make sure you have this handy. October 2022, Justin Baldoni already lost his guaranteed director's cut. Blake Lively had fuck all to do with it.
This document is Exhibit 41. This is Danny Greenberg's deposition. There's a few different deposition files, but this is...
Well, just have it handy, will you? Because I definitely want to be fucking rubbing some noses.
And it's the 11th page of the document, but it's page 246.
To me, it sickens me, the level, and this is why this is coming from Justin Baldoni's camp and not... This wasn't invented by a bunch of fucking influencers who think they know something about Hollywood. This was put out as a message from Justin Baldoni's camp to the public that she tried to take his cut away. And Sony had had plans since 2022 to do that very fucking thing. And I've said it time and again, and I'll say it over and over again. I'll say it when we get to the trial. Sony is going to rely on producers to pitch them and or present them with an alternative cut to test. And Blake Lively pitched, and she might have, and pitching isn't, it's not, done in earnest or with the sort of eagerness of a, what do they call them? Greenback. It is rather a very confident and almost greenhorn. It isn't. It's rather more of a confident, casual, almost conversation about, hey, this is wrong with the cut. What don't you like about the cut? Right. Exploring all these different aspects.
Also, I know that there were a lot of notes from Colleen Hoover where she preferred what Blake Lively had created, and she had like 3 whole pages about why, all the different reasons.
Yeah,
comparing the two. Okay, anyway, so I didn't read the answer to that question. The attorney says, so as of at least the date of this document, which let's see when it is, October 2022, Mr. Baldoni understood that he would not have final cut rights. Is that right? Danny Greenberg says, correct.
I mean, I just get the fuck out the house, man.
Ms. Gavernsky says, okay, let's go to an exhibit that opposing counsel showed you. Exhibit number 8. Before we talk about this document, Mr. Greenberg, I just want to understand, were there only ever literally 2 versions of the film, like Justin's edit and then another version, and that was it? Only 2? He says, Danny Greenberg says, no, I mean, there's Justin. It's a living, breathing thing. And so Justin's edit of the film was a movie that he effectively finished, but not literally finished, but that he, for the most part, finished. I'm not sure whether or not it was locked yet, but that was the movie that was tested when I attended. And that was when I think this particular formula that you read in the last paragraph, in paragraph 6, applied to that test. Question, how do you know it applied to that test? Danny Greenberg says, because as far as I know, that was the last test of any of his films or any of his cuts that he was doing along the way. How many of Justin's cuts were tested? He said, I don't recall how many. More than one, though? He said, I know that there was at least 2 tests, but it was the cut that he was progressing on. So it's one version of the movie. It might have been farther along in the second test than it was in the first test, but it was the movie that he was working on in post.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing to establish that he had more than one crack at it.
This is several pages later. I don't know what the question is, but I've got an answer from Danny Greenberg. So forgive me, I don't know what this is about. He said he also referenced there might have been a couple other things, like referencing the fact the production hired one of Justin's friends to be a doctor on the movie. In addition to Justin hiring his wife to be a doctor on a movie, there was, I don't recall anything.
Just switch those roles and everything's cooler instantly.
There was I don't recall anything else off the top of my head, but he felt to me in that on the call that he was trying to build a case against Justin. He must be referring to Ryan Reynolds here. Danny Greenberg continues, and I just didn't feel like anything rose to that occasion. And so I was trying to get, Ryan to give me more. And that's when he sort of put a stop to it. And the call pivoted to more about the print and the test that had just happened and his reaction to what he had just seen in this part of it. Question, but you earlier testified that none of what he conveyed was sexual in nature. Is that right? He said, correct. Okay, do you recall Mr. Reynolds conveying to you that Colleen Hoover did not want to go to the premiere with Mr. Baldoni? He said, I do remember that. What did he tell you? He asked me if Justin was planning on going to the premiere, which surprised me. I said, of course he would. I think at the time I reiterated to him that he found the material, developed the material, produced the material, co-financed the material, starred in the movie, directed the movie.
He didn't co-finance shit.
Directed the movie, and it seemed peculiar that he would even raise that issue. And his reaction to my reaction was that Colleen would not go to the premiere if Justin was there, or that he believed it's possible that Colleen would not go to the premiere if he was there.
I wouldn't go.
Question, did you speak to Ms. Hoover regarding whether she would go to the premiere if Mr. Baldoni was there? He said no. Do you have any reason to doubt Mr. Reynolds' statement that Ms. Hoover would not go to the premiere if Mr. Baldoni was there? He said, I had no reason to doubt it. Do you recall Mr. Reynolds telling you that Miss Lively was actually trying to keep the cast together at that point to all go to the premiere together? He said, I don't recall that part of the conversation.
That's what matters the most, by the way, is the cast, not the fucking director. Even though obviously Justin Baldoni was a big cast member. So there's that.
Very interesting. Okay, this is several pages later. The question is, by refuting her claims about what happened on the set. So I don't know the context. Danny Greenberg says, potentially. Again, I wasn't across the publicity campaign or anything along those lines. So this was basically a reflection of what I heard from the publicists as well as from Wayfair. Do you see? So this is where Danny Greenberg is getting his information. All the defendants in the case are the only people informing Danny Greenberg of the facts.
Of course, they're his clients. He's not going to be talking to people who aren't his clients.
Okay. But your understanding is that they were preparing to go public to refute her claims about what happened to her on set? Danny Greenberg says, in the event they needed to defend themselves, as my understanding is that they were prepared to be truthful about what their experience was. Ms. Gavrnsky says, did you attend the premiere evidence with us? He says, yes. Did you speak with Mr. Sarowitz at the premiere? He said, I spoke with Mr. Sarowitz at the premiere party. The premiere party after the premiere? He says, correct. Where did that occur? He said, at a hotel down the street. I forget the name of it.
That's interesting that they were at a hotel down the street.
Down the street from the premiere, which is where Justin Baldoni could have gone instead of into the basement.
Except that he was being held in the basement for a few minutes.
Down the street instead of in the basement where he felt like he was forced to go.
He was being held in a green room before he got ushered to his theater. It was just such a fucking stage.
But here they are.
Shit.
At a hotel down the street was the premiere party.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. Question, and that was August 6, 2024? He says that sounds right. What did you and Mr. Sarowitz discuss? Danny Greenberg says, he asked me how things were going with respect to publicity, with respect to the dynamic between Blake and Justin. Is this going to impact how the movie opens? My response to him was simply, the publicists are all over it. They're doing their job. They're working in conjunction with Blake's publicity team. And it seems to me like everything's going to be okay. At that point, it was Thursday before the movie opened, so there really wasn't much out there, if anything, about the dynamic between the two of them. So I was basically trying to just sort of calm him down. He was seemingly a bit defensive and nervous about what could happen. Again, he financed and built the studio. And so I was just basically alleviating his concerns, and he seemed to be okay. Question, you used the words calm him down. How would you describe his demeanor? He says, I don't know him very well. I only met him and had a couple Zooms with him over time. But, he seems to me to be a relatively intense guy and a very straightforward, seemingly very honest guy, at least how he has communicated with me in the few times that we've communicated. And how that's very important to him, kind of a spiritual, faithful guy. And so in that moment, it seemed to me that he was feeling like, and I've used the word earlier, a bit defensive in that he needed to potentially protect himself. And so I was trying to assure him that he really had nothing to worry about and that everybody was doing their job and, the movie's going to open great and, it's going to be all right.
Because that's all that fucking matters.
That's all that fucking matters, dude.
This fucking baby.
Just chill the fuck out and
all that mattered was, how's the movie going to do? You guys can get over all your fucking bumps in the road.
You just count your money, man.
Including Blake Lively. But no, he had to fucking up the ante.
Yeah.
He needed to fucking retaliate. He needed to turn it into a war.
This agent at one of the biggest agencies in the entire industry is like, just chill out, man. Everything's cool.
Around the world, globally, one of the biggest, if not the biggest agency globally.
He's like, it's just a fucking game. We play pretend. It's fine. Count your money.
Come on, bro. Watch Succession. You'll get the vibe.
Question. Do you remember anything in particular that Mr. Sarowitz said, his exact words? And Danny Greenberg says, for instance, and the attorney says, well, did Mr. Sarowitz tell you that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively? He says, no, he did not say that. Did he say anything similar to that? Danny Greenberg said, he said that, if I remember correctly, when I used the word publicist, his response to that is, that's fine, but I have lawyers. And in the event I need to, and this becomes a legal situation, I'm prepared to spare no expense. He didn't mention anything about money. And again, it just sort of seemed in character. But my analysis was that it was purely defensive and that he had no intention of doing anything. It sounded like it was a little bit hubris and a little bit let me know if I need to do something, I will.
What bothers me about that statement is they're dismissing it, or him dismissing that statement, because it's that kind of rhetoric is harmful.
Absolutely.
That's the kind
From a
of
fucking
rhetoric
billionaire?
that causes fucking trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
How are you not supposed to be intimidated? You're supposed to go to bed at night and sleep comfortably knowing in your own heart that he doesn't mean it.
That he prepares to spare no expense.
Yeah, no, that is a fucking clear and present danger in your fucking life if you hear something like that, and you're going to be troubled from it. You don't fucking, when Leonardo DiCaprio said he was going to fucking ruin me, I didn't fucking go to bed at night thinking, oh, he's not going to do that. I was terrified. And then he did it, you know?
That was in the middle of his answer. So let me just recap a little bit. So Danny Greenberg, Danny Greenberg says, and again, it just sort of seemed in character, but my analysis was that it was purely defensive and that he had no intention of doing anything. It sounded like it was a little bit hubris and a little bit like, let me know if I need to do something, I will. Let me know if I need to engage or whatever. And so that was the last time I spoke to him. Question. So it's your testimony that he did not reference spending $100 million? He says, I don't recall. It's possible. I just don't recall him using that number or that figure. I do recall something to the effect of sparing no expense, but it's possible he did. I just don't recall that.
So he may have actually used the number.
Right. Question. Is Mr. Sarowitz
By the way, fucking billionaires love to drop that kind of
Yeah, of
shit.
course
They'll
they
be
do.
like, I'll spend $100 million on
Yeah,
this.
because they believe it's the most important thing.
And they also want to fucking drop your jaw, open.
And is Mr. Sarowitz a billionaire? He says, I believe so. He continues, I believe so from what I've read. Ms. Gavrinsky, the attorney, says, so what was your impression of when he said he would spare no expense? Danny Greenberg says, I didn't really have much of an impression. I know that he has means and that he would do what he needed to do in the event he felt threatened. Question. And what was he prepared to do? Do you recall any words that he used of what he was prepared to do? He says,
I can answer this. He's prepared to destroy them the way Israel destroyed Hamas. I got the answer for that.
He says there was going to be 2 dead bodies when I'm done, and then obviously he
Not
detected,
like dead. Like they're gonna still be breathing, but
he had some glimmer of recognition about how absolutely monstrous he sounded when he said that, and then he
to
was
another
like,
woman too.
I don't mean like actually dead, but like dead to me, dead to a lot of people actually.
Dead to a lot of people. The dead to a lot of people is the most disturbing to me because
That's not normal.
that's smearing. That's about smearing.
That's not fucking normal.
Well, I've been through it. It's smearing.
Okay, and what was he prepared to do? Do you recall any words that he used of what he was prepared to do? And Danny Greenberg says, no, there was no specificity. It was broad. Did he say that he was prepared to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family in any way? He says no. And what did he say regarding Miss Lively and her family? Danny Greenberg says he never mentioned her family. It's possible that he mentioned Blake and Ryan and sort of like combined the two of them in terms of like power things with Blake and Ryan. But beyond that, there was no mention of his family. Their family. There was no mention.
Fucking children too.
There was no mention of ruining the lives, from what I remember. What do you recall about what he said about Miss Lively? He had nothing specific to say about Blake, and then for some reason it skips a single page. And so this picks up. Question. You said he was really aggressive when I spoke to him. Do you see that? He says yes. This is a text message about the conversation. Oh, I can see a little quote above here. It gets cut off, but the attorney is reading, little concerned about Steve S. That's Mr. Sarowitz? He said, correct. You said he was really aggressive when I spoke to him. Do you see that? And he says, yes. And what were you referencing when you said when I spoke to him? Danny Greenberg says the conversation that we just discussed at the premiere party. And why did you describe him as really aggressive? Danny Greenberg says, I think that was just describing his personality. He's not really experienced in the world of Hollywood and movie making, and he seems to present himself as more of a businessman, and he was feeling threatened and vulnerable. And so I measured it also that he was, trying to, at least with respect to me, kind of like prove himself in the moment that I'm capable of, defending myself if I need to. And so I think it was sort of in line with his personality.
What a fucking child.
I know.
What a little fucking baby.
Let me continue.
Like you're worth $1 billion and you got to find a way to intimidate people around you. You got to try to send
No, you don't
Danny
understand.
Greenberg back to the office going, oh no, we
don't
got a
understand.
billionaire who's ready to put the fucking money out.
Dale, there's a certain type of person that has to become a billionaire. The only people who ever become billionaires are these people who are interested in fucking points. They're trying to fucking impress their friends, you know? Otherwise they wouldn't accrue that much money.
It just blows my mind that he also is going in there with the inexperience and the ignorance that comes with inexperience at times of the industry, and then there he is, like flashing the wallet and his capability to
Right.
be able to bury people with money and lawyers. Because it just seems like, okay, so you don't want to do business with us? Like, doesn't that feel like that? You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is gonna, with confidence, send people out there who are so litigious? Like, this guy's like at the edge of his lips immediately.
I know. He's super defensive. He's like really, he feels vulnerable. Like, I wouldn't want this guy around.
No.
I feel like I don't want to do business with somebody who's about to, like, trying to.
It just seems tactically bad. You know what I mean? What are you blowing?
There's a little gnat
A
in my
gnat?
face.
It's because you're real pretty.
You have really crisp cameras. And so I'm like, okay, everybody can see my every pore. Everybody can see all my, my wrinkles. And they could probably see this gnat in my face.
Feldbaum said they see money flying away if they give the real story to the masses. Oh, this is, I guess, in response to Hanada. People will literally say, I'm not hearing my opinion here, so I'm going to find it somewhere else. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Let me just finish this answer.
I wish they'd do that when they come here.
We're starting a conversation in the middle of an answer, so let me
Go ahead.
Let me just start over, okay? And why did you describe him as really aggressive? Danny Greenberg says, I think that was just describing his personality. He is not really experienced in the world of Hollywood and movie making, and he seemed to present himself as more of a businessman, and he was feeling threatened and vulnerable. And so I measured it also that he was, trying to, at least with respect to me, kind of like prove himself in the moment that I'm capable of, defending myself if I need to. And so I think it was sort of in line with his personality, which I had blocked from the very beginning. I think he means clocked. That he's just an intense man. And so I just wanted to make sure, he had nothing to worry about. And so, I did mention it to Ange in this exchange. Question. And when he said, I will spare no expense, he said that in an aggressive manner? He says, I don't recall.
Well, you said that he was aggressive. So what was he? That's when he took the
That's when he calmed right down?
Yeah.
Question. And then you write, in quotes, I've been texting Jamie to make sure he's managed and to make sure he speaks with me before doing anything nuclear. Do you see that? He says, yes, correct. You were concerned that Mr. Sarowitz would do something nuclear? And Danny Greenberg says, let me see if this continues. Yeah.
Nuclear.
I was worried about him potentially going legal or litigious with Blake and Ryan because that's what he mentioned he would need to potentially do in the event he had to. And so my reference here is the conversation I had with Jamie, in which I brought it up to Jamie and suggest, just to basically say, the conversation I had with Steve was what I just described here. And so that's what I was referencing.
Wow.
Question. And so your version of nuclear was just filing the lawsuit? He said, yes, that's the only thing that he mentioned to me. He used the word legal, and that was the only context in which he mentioned anything to me.
That's nuclear to me, isn't it? Nuclear to you? I mean,
by a billionaire? Yeah.
You blow shit up when
dude.
you fucking file lawsuits against movie stars, bro. That's nuclear. That's a bomb that goes off, causing, havoc.
Okay, I'm going to mark Exhibit 30. Let's see. What I just handed you. Do you see that in front of you? He says, I do. Do you recognize this? He says, I do. Okay. Do you see in the first paragraph you say, in quotes, I think we're on a good path here. There's a truce between the publicists on both sides. And your last sentence in that paragraph is, I quote, I had to dial down the billionaire at the premiere who was ready for serious battle. Do you see that? He says, yes. Who is the billionaire that you're referring to here? He said, Steve Sarowitz. And again, why did you use the term, strike that? Why did you use the term, well, strike that? Why did you use the term ready for serious battle? Why did lawyers do that?
True, because first of all, the opening of the question was garbage. And
was the same.
It's not actually. The very opening, the very first one, not the one that's...
And again, why did you use the term strike that?
The reason that you strike that is because it's asked and answered.
Ah, gotcha.
It's like you're literally inviting the sustained...
So strange. Okay, anyway, the question is, why did you use the term ready for serious battle? Danny Greenberg says, well, it's just a continuation of what I've been saying the past 5 minutes, that he felt threatened, and battle refers to potentially having to get into a legal dispute. The attorney says, they're going to take a quick break. Let's see.
But by the way, when he says and again, it wasn't and again because he didn't ask that question. He's just asking the same question he's asking a similar question to the same... he's asking a similar question to a different scenario.
Okay, I only have 2 pages left. This is several pages later. Mr. Greenberg, did you tell anyone that Mr. Sarowitz told you that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin Miss Lively's life? Danny Greenberg says, I don't recall him being specific about that number, but I did have a conversation with Warren Zavala, my colleague, about that. It's possible I had a conversation. Well, let's go back. First of all, I don't have any memory of him mentioning ruining anyone's life, but the conversation I did have with him, I did a conversation with Warren Zavala about that afterwards. It's possible it came up with Patrick Whitesell, but I do remember having an exchange with Warren about it. Question, and what did you tell Warren? I don't know why this gets cut off only a single page, but what I can read from his answer is, what did you tell Warren? He says, basically what I testified to earlier, that, I making him aware of the situation and the importance of everybody just staying the course, focusing on getting the movie open, and that Steve presented to me as somebody who felt very sort of attacked and vulnerable, and then that gets cut off. But then a single page later, the attorney says, Mr. Sarowitz told you he was willing to spend $100 million? And the witness says, is it possible? Of course it's possible. I don't remember saying that. The attorney says, who is Marie Sheehy? He says, Marie Sheehy she's a colleague. She runs our corporate communications at WME. Is she your boss? He says, no. Do you recall telling her that Mr. Sarowitz told you he was prepared to spend $100 million? That's interesting. So this is where the quote came from. Danny Greenberg says, again, I don't recall telling anyone that he said that figure, but it is possible that it came up. Marie was engaged with the situation after the movie opened, and so it's possible we had that conversation. I just don't recall having it. Question, would it surprise you to learn that Miss Sheehy recalls you telling her that Mr. Sarowitz conveyed to you that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin Miss Lively's life? And Danny Greenberg says, I don't have any memory of having a conversation with anyone about Steve Sarowitz ruining anyone's life. The attorney says, okay, would it surprise you to learn that Marie Sheehy recalls you telling her that Mr. Sarowitz was prepared to spend $100 million? Objections. Danny Greenberg says,
he didn't answer the question.
If I had the conversation with her, that wouldn't surprise me.
So...
Question.
So do you see the contrast in that? Because he's trying to get this like vague. This is why lawyers are fucking so good at what they do, and why I have so much respect for you guys. Deanne, fucking Hanada, you guys are amazing, because they're the first answer was completely not the question.
He gets it. She gets it again.
It's fucking amazing.
Ms. Gavrensky said, credit to her, right? So
yeah.
And what about Patrick Whitesell? Did you convey any statements to Mr. Whitesell regarding your conversation with Mr. Sarowitz? Danny Greenberg says, I don't recall specifically having it. I do believe there was a text exchange that we covered with respect to that issue. Question. So it's possible that you conveyed to Mr. Whitesell that Mr. Sarowitz told you he was prepared to spend $100 million? And he says, yes, that's possible. And that's all I have for you today.
Well, that's very interesting, because I don't know. I wonder how that helps them on, that testimony helps them, because it's not a denial, but it's also not a confirmation that it was said. So it's very interesting, because he's saying I may have, which is a great answer, especially if you want to avoid the truth.
This is really interesting.
The absolute truth.
I have a bunch of Danny Greenberg text messages that was put up for evidence, that we grabbed from the court. And this I labeled shit show. So this is a quote from Danny Greenberg. Let's see what the date is here. This is August 4th, 2024, so right before the premiere. Danny Greenberg says, off tomorrow to New York City to this shit show. Kind of quiet now, but Justin's crisis team ready for war with her. They have all kinds of
garbage. Did you get a date on that? What was the date?
This is before the premiere. This is August 4th, 2024. This is the day that he says that he was talking to
Sarowitz.
I thought the premiere was August 9th.
And he's using war.
Yeah, so check
to
this out.
describe it.
I thought the premiere was August 9th. Anyway, this is August 4th.
It was August 9th.
This is the date that they say that he said that he had this conversation with with Steve Sarowitz in New York. So he says, off tomorrow to New York City to the shit show. Kind of quiet now, but Justin's crisis team ready for war with her. They have all kinds of garbage on her. My guess is if this blows up, Ryan Reynolds will call you to make me clip our guy. I'll put the over-under on that by next Monday. Maybe we'll get lucky and it stays quiet, but unlikely. Movie is going to work. That's it for now, brother. And that was a text to Patrick Whitesell. He says, okay, good luck. Fun times.
And when you clip your guy, like the guy's getting checks, like Danny Greenberg is cashing checks because of Baldoni's successes. And, the agency is taxing, taxing this dude 10%. And so, if Justin Baldoni makes $10 million or $6 million or $5 million, $500,000, whatever it is, out the door.
Here's this other one. This is from Danny Greenberg from August 9th, 2024. He says, I'm a little concerned about Steve S. He was really aggressive when I spoke with him. I've been texting Jamie to make sure he is managed and to make sure he speaks with me before doing anything nuclear. I don't know who he's texting here. This is by, this is Sony.
He's Patrick, right? It's probably his boy Patrick. Doesn't really matter.
He's texting somebody at Sony. It just says, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And Danny Greenberg says, those two will never be fully out of the woods with him. Not the kind of guy you want to feel about you the way he feels about them.
That's a threat.
Isn't that crazy? Anyway, we got all the tea.
I had a feeling this was going to be kind of juicy, and it was.
Super messy.
You want to go into the chat before we close things out?
Yes.
Don't forget, Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern, we'll be live with our Patreon, The Crew, exclusive live fucking astrology action. That's going to be fun. We'll do that for a couple of hours, or as long as it takes. That'll be on Sunday. And then on Monday, I'll return to my writing, although Monday will be a shorter session. Then we've got this paid gig that we're going to be over in a couple of weeks, and then I'll be able to get even into longer sections. But the writing comes back on Monday, also on the Patreon exclusive for the crew. So if you want to check that out, you know that the link is in the description if you haven't already signed up. But if you have, come on out, man. It's going to be a good time. I also, of course, immediately following those lives, as soon as it processes, I post to Patreon, so you can watch the replay. Also, if you missed the live, it is fun. So I hope you will check it out. We're making this content for you guys. All right, go ahead.
Hanada says, referencing him, Danny Greenberg, saying to Justin Baldoni, she dissects your word choice frequently. And Hanada was like, in other words, she didn't like you calling her sexy or hot and asking if she orgasms with her husband.
Right.
Seems pretty reasonable. Seems like a pretty good reason to dissect your word choice frequently.
You know what? Even if you think that Blake Lively was being unreasonable,
maybe your word choice is sexual harassment, buddy.
you should maybe manage the situation. Yeah. Like if the situation is that you have somebody who is powerful in her position in your production, if she's difficult, you need to manage that. You don't need to exacerbate it. You don't need to add fuel to the fire. You need to fucking pour water on it. And what did this guy do? He kept fucking up time and time and time again. He kept adding to the problem. And the reason is because he doesn't fucking know he has a problem. Good night, Bubba. We'll see you on Monday or on Sunday, whichever. Looking forward to it either way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Kiki makes this is a good point. The premiere is all about optics, and any awkwardness on the red carpet would not work.
Yes. The premieres, yes. And it's about the star of the movie. It's about Blake Lively. It's about who's going to bring in the box office. Justin Baldoni was never going to bring in the box office. Absolutely nobody was going to see the next Justin Baldoni movie. It was all about Blake Lively, and it was all about the rest of the cast supporting her. And while the press was clearly going to notice if Justin Baldoni wasn't invited or there or interacting with her, then they would feed on that. That would only, potentially help the fucking movie anyway. Because it's tea, but there was no reason to turn it into all out war. This would have been, they would have just hated each other for a few more years. Actually, Sarowitz would have been in position to express his power, the power that this agent, Danny Greenberg, seemed to have some, at least, admiration for, or at least some apprehension for, because now he's in no position power-wise because Hollywood doesn't want his money.
Yeah.
When Hollywood wanted his money, he had leverage. It's just this guy Sarowitz, for all of his money and all of his supposed success, he seems like a fucking bonehead to me.
I think so too.
Like he just makes a lot of decisions I would never have made.
Yeah, no. It's actually pretty encouraging. Like, oh. So, this isn't like, the if the class war had to be won on brains, I think we'd do all right.
Yeah.
Deanne said that the pro-Baldoni people think that the new lawsuits against Wayfair and Sarowitz are funded by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. They are seriously stupid.
Well, they can't accept the reality of any situation. They can't accept it. I mean, of course they think that. They're the same people who think that practically every single person on that set who complained because of Blake. They think Blake Lively can, they think she rules the world, and she's just Blake Lively who can't get work right now. Like, it's so funny. It's like Blake Lively's so powerful, she can't get work right now.
Yeah. Hanada said that that's a great point, Dale, that Steve Sarowitz had power in the industry, but now even his billions are radioactive.
Yeah, he took it away. He took away the power and leverage that he had.
Yeah, you do business with them, you could get sued. You could get dragged into some sort of horrific,
and I'll tell you, man,
smear campaign, whatever. It's not worth it.
He threw some solid chops to the tree when he started talking about being litigious in that moment. And look at Danny Greenberg's reaction to that. Like, this is just all bad play by Sarah.
Yeah, he was like, he called in Jamie and was like, bro, you got to keep your dude under control. Like, let me know if he's going to do anything.
And the one thing you would want to say to Greenberg, the way you'd want to handle that kind of a situation is to say something to the effect of, listen, I hope that this doesn't get out of hand. If it does, I hope they understand that I'm going to dig in. And it won't be good for anybody. But I don't want this to, like, the idea is to throw out, not that you are going to, go to war, but that you are prepared to defend yourself if it comes to that. Like, if you put the offensive on them, right?
Yeah.
Instead, Greenberg's running around going, this fucking guy is about to get offensive, right? As opposed to the message would have been, wow, Greenberg's feeling threatened right now, and he thinks these guys are going to try to fucking do something bad, and he's like, he's going to lawyer up. This is bad. It's a totally different perspective that he didn't Steve Sarowitz give himself. The guy, he can't play a fucking game of chess in his life.
I think it was really great testimony too today that, I mean, all of Justin Baldoni's side of things, they're always supporting Blake Lively's case. It's crazy. But
I know.
I got really great clarification. I mean, clarity on the in that line of questioning, the way that it was like 1, 2, 3 punch with like the comparing the 3 documents of the Justin Baldoni starting out. Wayfair was asking for him to have final cut rights, and Sony was like, or Columbia, whatever. And they were like, we actually don't do that. And then the next document was like, okay, we're going to do a bake off. Like, that was really clarifying the way that it was all. I think that if anybody ever needs to reference that going forward to like make that point and dispel this myth that Baldoni and his publicists have put out,
2022,
that Danny Greenberg's testimony is the best way to do that. December 2022 was when that was finally decided.
December 2022. Blake Lively was not even in the fucking conversation yet. She was not even in the conversation, Yeah. And the difference is that Blake Lively knew, because everybody knows that studios don't give directors cuts. Anybody who's been in the business long enough knows.
Yeah.
I was in the business a shorter time than Justin Baldoni, and I knew that. Mind you, I was in production, and he wasn't. He was in fucking acting, which is not the same, not by any stretch. All right, you guys, we got to go. We're fucking tired, but we are going to be back on Sunday, 2 to 4. Come hang out with us. We're going to have a great little astrology talk.
Patreon?
Yeah, on Patreon. We're going to be streaming directly to Patreon. So don't look for this on YouTube. You should make sure you have notifications on Patreon. Hopefully, then you will be notified that we are going to be there and be live. If you like Too Real, or if you like Don's Plum, or if you like or hate Leonardo DiCaprio, or any of that stuff, come hang out with me during the day while I do my second edition of Too Real. It's fucking badass. It's going to be such a fun and wild ride, especially if you're a writer or want to be a writer, because I'm also breaking down my process and why I have things in certain places and what I'm doing. And it's, I think, an awesome opportunity to learn for everybody, including me. So I hope you'll come and join me. And if you don't, that's cool too, because maybe you'll just be hanging out and listening to the finished product, which is going to be an audio version of the book read by me, not the actual official audio book. We want to do that more thoroughly with a cast later, but it will be a little something for people to read. And of course, that will also be the new edition.
Will you pick it up when you talk about it? Would you pick it up?
This is the book. It's going to get a new cover that you guys are going to participate in and deciding. For the second edition, it's going to get a new cover.
Yeah,
I was thinking I would do one of me just naked. What do you think? too real. And then me just standing there stark naked.
It'll be like
As a
the 2
56-year-old man
O's. It'll be like one for each nipple.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Move it to the center.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I like it.
All right, let's go.
You guys are the best. You guys are the absolute best. We'll see you guys on Sunday or Monday or thereafter.